Hi.
Cheers.
Oh, someone has their volume on.
Cheers.
It's me.
Let's just get this rolling and done.
Woo! I'm just a whole hot mess, a train wreck before it even starts going.
It's A-okay. Guys, welcome. We are here for episode 1 of season 2 of Real Family-ish. Oh, okay. Hey, Papa.
The guest is back. Say hi, Leonardo, the cappuccino.
Yes, and as you guys know, and you've seen her before, everywhere on the internet, now apparently on the New York Post, she is the professional goddess Ana Dee, and she's going to be here live with us on the first episode. Yay! Wait, ready? I got it.
I am so happy to be here. There's no one else I'd rather be spending my night with.
Yay! Oh, Vicky wrote in the chat, I made it home from the hospital just in time.
Well,
Vicky, I hope you're okay. Like, I'm not sure if you work in a hospital or something was wrong, but I hope you're okay. And thank you for being here with us.
Hi, Elizabeth.
Yeah. And then Jason saying, hey, girl. And then Evan's dropping by saying, hey.
Oh, the chats are booming. I had my right thyroid removed because they found thyroid cancer. Oh, wow, Vicky. Okay, well, I hope you're doing okay and you're recovering okay and everything's going well. And thank you for being here with us. You could be anywhere. You could be sleeping, recovering. But you are here with us. So thank you.
I send you lots of healing vibes. There you go.
And I think also, guys, you know that we are doing a $50 gift card giveaway in honor of Ana being here, in honor as the first episode. So, guys, in order to enter, you can either go to my website. Ana has it in her Instagram. You go to Mike's page. It's all there. You'll see it. You can go to giveaway and enter everywhere. You literally can enter anywhere. But in addition for showing up live, you have to be here to win an additional $25. So you have a chance to win $75 all together.
Love it. I think everyone loves money.
So where do we want to dive? Where do we start, guys? What do you think we should start with? Anna, how about you introduce yourself and talk a little bit about yourself?
Oh gosh, I need to pull up my 10-page bio.
Literally that we made.
My name is Ana. I always struggle with this question because usually when people ask you what you do, you're like, oh, I'm a realtor. I walk dogs. And me, I'm like, well, I've lived a decade on the internet and I've done and created so many brands and pretty much have created a movement behind my brand. But basically, I'm known as the stripper turned CEO. And I have a few online e-commerce stores. I've founded and run alienoutfitters.com. I have a knife shop, bladesforbabes.com. I'm the owner of a sex shop, smoke shop, thehornystoner.com. I'm also, I guess, an influencer. So what?
I think we're up to 7. I think we're up to 7 titles. I was like, wait, I think we're up to 7 titles so far. Keep it going.
So I started just talking about my life, and then I realized I started educating people. So I started like a YouTube channel to vlog about my life. I started a podcast to educate about sex work, and then I wrote a book. So I guess I'm an author. I started a dog foundation because I just needed something more. Oh. So I guess an entrepreneur would say it all, but we like to call it slutrepreneur. So that is the new name of the entity. But I love creating. Whenever I think of an idea, I just brand it. I'm also now an Amazon influencer, thanks to Gina. But yeah, I'm an advocate. I'm maybe a philanthropist. I'm not sure. I'm crazy and I talk about it on the internet and people follow me, but I love to hustle and make money and teach other people how to do it. Oh, long-winded answer.
But you have to give that long-winded answer because you have 1,000,001 things. You need to talk about every single one of them because it makes a staple in its own way, every single thing that you do, I feel like. And even from the book, I think Mike wanted us to tell us something that he applied this outside of the spicy world out there.
Yeah, so I wanted to let me grab my copy here. Because I just like appreciate the hustle in general, but
I'm a hustler, honey.
yeah, I just and I just love like just being able to see different perspectives and being able to go through this. Actually, since I got it, I'd have to check. Hold on, I actually have
This
my,
is so weird to me because
since when I
like
first
for
got
a
it.
year I was just in my room like pouring my heart into this, and I just wanted it to be like I was just hoping people would get value from it. It's so scary like to write a book because you think no one's
Oh,
gonna
it's
buy
so
it.
valuable. It's
So like,
ridiculously valuable.
well, when people read it and they're like, it changed my life, or I made money doing this, I'm like, really? It did? Oh my God, it worked. Okay, keep going.
No.
Yeah,
tell
so
me more. Tell me more.
first off, I just applaud you for taking the for a variety of terms I could use, taking the just opportunity and the risk to be able to put it out there, because people are going to come at you from all different angles, love and judgment, all those different things. So I think it's amazing you did that and gave everybody this tool, because I got it March 2nd. From March 2nd till now, I made $5,000, which is one of the tips that I took from here. And I can go into that if you guys want to hang around for the next stage of the podcast. But again, this isn't even like I'm a health coach, like I'm a health entrepreneur, but like I took the insight from this with one thing and made an extra $5,000, which I thought was awesome. So I wanted to thank you, by the way.
I need to clip that and put it on my website.
I'll gladly, and I'll give you
one thing and made $5,000.
Yeah, and
no, but
and
what the heck was it?
so
That's
it's
awesome.
Is it PG or non-PG? Can you like bleep out words or something?
No. It's PG enough. Where like
Okay.
so what I do is I just train like jujitsu and like I work out and stuff. So I took the clothes that I was wearing and maybe some of the layers from what I was wearing, and I used some of your tactics on leveraging that on online platforms where people could purchase those sweaty apparel items, or whatever you want to call that. So thank you.
Hold on, pause. The fact that a man is, I don't want to use the word admitting, but like I feel like you're empowered by it, which is amazing. But the first thing people say when they hear about selling used clothes is like, oh, you can only do it if you're hot. And I'm like, hold on. Like the thing is with the market, just the male market, there's a small pool of sellers. So why not be a big fish in a small pond? And where's the shame coming from? Like, let's talk about your childhood trauma, maybe. Like, what did your dad project on you that makes you feel like you can't be, it's a normal job. Like we pay taxes, it's everything else. And I want to know, how your profile setup is. I want to know the description of your items. Like, that's insane. Congratulations. Hold on, $5,000?
Yeah. Thank you so much. And it's been, to your point, I think you brought up so many good points. So I wanted to I was actually going to ask these in questions and later layers to it, but I think there's a lot of assumptions, and I'm sure you could speak to this as well. Like, obviously you can speak to this, but the idea of there's assumptions being made with certain choices that we make. And it's like, why not? Right. So I'll give you a great comparison. One of my first fights ever, I sold those shorts and they had blood on them, and that was okay because it was like a fight. Right. So that's totally fine. But for me to work out and to sweat in clothes and sell that, why is that not okay? Why would I be embarrassed by that?
You don't understand how much this man sweats too. Like his arms, like it's.
Well, see, I'm seeing the whole brand, like the whole jujitsu thing. Like,
oh yeah,
there's that like celebrity factor, influence factor, and that's the thing. You can be a Joe Schmo, and that can be your brand, or you can be a workout guy and that's your brand. And not only that, but it's probably very pungent, and that is a moneymaker. And that's insane. I wish, there needs to be a male figure that can step up to the plate and destigmatize what people deem as weird, because it just comes from a lot of judgment. And I talked about this when a producer was here yesterday. What did I say? Oh, so like the Kardashians, they sell a ton of their clothes on eBay, and people glorify them and they want to have like a trophy. So like, to me, that's not very different. Or if you get your boyfriend's hoodie and you're like, I miss him, like
exactly.
Pheromones are a real thing. And there's so many layers that are like almost scientific from what a smell makes your brain do and how it can bring joy and happiness. So I feel like we're out here healing the world, and that's powerful.
You're giving them almost, I feel like, a comfort level and something to look forward to, whether it's receiving something from you, companionship from you, whether it's a sweatshirt or book or whatever it is from you, you're giving them a euphoric experience and something tangible opposed to just talking on a chat, whether it's, the online chat rooms or anything like that. You're taking it to the next level and creating a world around it. And we're probably going to, I'm not going to say what we're doing soon to create a whole world around that, but every time you're taking it to the next level more than someone else is doing. So kudos to you for giving that experience to someone and put a smile on their face, whether it's through panties, your hair, your toenail clippings, or what was the weirdest thing you feel like you bottled or sold?
Oh gosh, we had to make a whole list yesterday, but I feel I'm most viral for selling my IUD, which is a contraceptive. That was like my first 4-figure sale. But lately, I've decided to share that I'd sell my burps in a bag for about $50. And I've also been crushing eggs with my biceps and sending those out. And it's so exciting. It's like an art form for me. Like I'm in the grocery store and I'm like, ooh, I could crush that or spit that out and make money with it. So I'm curious, you have the book. Did you look at the website suggestions, or how did, because I'm sure you were like, oh, this is interesting, I kind of want to look into that. Like, what happened next, to take that next step as far as signing up,
Oh yeah. That's a great question. And then, so I just want to address everybody in the chat, because the chat's got a bunch of different things going off and some people are joining in at different times. So just so you guys know, we're going to continuously elaborate on, not only Anna, all the different hustles. She just covered all the hustles, all the awesome sauce. But we're going to continuously dig into that. We have a giveaway going down that you already had to have entered by 9 o'clock. So that's the one giveaway.
No, we're keeping it open.
But we're going to do another. We're keeping that giveaway open, right? So we have the email giveaway and then the live chat giveaway, because it's saying on the website that once 9 o'clock hit, it's closed. They can't enter.
Was it? Oh, that one's closed. Okay, so
the 9 o'clock's closed, but we got in the chat. Type in giveaway.
I can open it back up because she put it on her Instagram. Okay. So let's keep it open.
Yeah, so let's open that bad boy up. And then, so going back to your question, what I also found helpful was the PDF that you also have to go that I kind of got in conjunction with that, which I thought was, I didn't think about this until afterwards. I started doing it. Sometimes I'm a leap then look kind of person. I'll make it. I already made a profile and stuff even prior to this, but then once I had the book, I was like, all right, let me actually business approach it. Cause see how immediately your mind in the first 2 seconds, all right, what image did you use? What was the text that you were using? I didn't even think of that stuff. I was just here's a picture of me in some underwear. Who wants it? And very kind of caveman-esque in my approach, not very systematic. But then once I started implementing maybe some of the strategy, then also how we package it, putting a little note, putting a little cologne, that, I was that, I don't know. And to your point, kind of having that scent. And then I also kind of gave it as an experience. I did a little 1-minute video of me training and I sent it to them with that so they could kind of have a connection of the experience.
Okay.
It's so similar to business though, because when you're selling a retail product, if I sell a necklace on my website, I'm still going to box it beautifully with my branding. I'm still going to send a follow-up email and, even the next week to do some return engagement. It's just so parallel, but it's again, I guess it's just because people don't see a square business and a not so square and don't assume that they're in the same lane. That's my only guess.
Yeah. And I think honestly, and this is just from my experience, I'm curious yours, until you kind of have the proof of concept, I think a lot of people don't realize how much money is truly out there and how much you can make doing some of this, just not even in this, just any space. So to even fathom, people will pay me money for this. What? I'm working out anyway. Why would I not want to leverage that? And then it just kind of ripples from there. And now I've left money on the table where I can probably do a better job of following up and then upselling and doing all these other things to other coaching programs or other
team for that.
Yeah. So that's
the important thing is I encourage you to fail and almost have bad customers or sending it to the wrong address, because that's how you really learn. Because I could hand someone, or what is it? You could give someone y'all know what this is. You give someone, say it for me.
Give them a fish or give someone a fish. You feed them for a day. Teach them to fish. You feed them for life.
Right.
Or
So
I think that's it. I think that's
something like
Yeah.
that. But it's, also, throwing your rod out and it gets tangled up, and kind of you figuring out how to untangle it will
I agree.
really digest that information versus daddy coming over and untangling it for you. So it's funny when I make mistakes in my day to day, even if I think the most common is when I'm packing the car and my partner's like, you can't fit all that stuff in there. And I'm just like, watch me. Like, I am so motivated at figuring things out myself because it's so empowering for me. But at the same time, I also really value like tutors and mentorships. And I do get a lot of hate that I'm like a gatekeeper or I'm withholding information. And I'm like, hold on, there's not a school for selling weird things. And I'm giving a gift to people so that they don't have to like screw up and sacrifice their safety or something devastating. And I'm out here supporting my fellow small business owners and not asking them for free stuff. So I'm like, look, you can Google it if you want, but if you're trying to get in the dark side hustle, Google shadows, all that stuff. So good luck.
And how much time, think about it, how much time and energy and resources have you already invested into this? And why is it okay for us to like, oh, I'm going to go to school and get a return on my investment there, but to do it in this sense of it? And I can understand maybe people are like, to your point, oh, you're a gatekeeper, you're holding, but actually, and this is, I'm curious your thoughts on this from my experience, even with clients, like I've offered people free coaching and stuff like that. Guess what? The people that actually do it and take the most action are the people that invest their money and take steps. Because when things are just given to us, it's just usually take it for granted. You're not even going to do anything with it.
I agree.
100%. And I've just gotten into the habit where I really don't like things handed to me. It makes me feel like I owe someone something. And I think a lot of us feel that way from childhood when our parents hold stuff over our heads. Like, well, you're not going to get your allowance if you don't do this. So this lesson has really come up a lot lately, but I'd rather be poor and broke and alone figuring out myself than feeling like I am just under someone's thumb. Like, it's the most like belittling feeling ever. So getting the book and figuring it out and navigating it, because yes, the book has great pointers and to go to, but ultimately you do have to do the work yourself. Because I'm sure when you sign up for a website, you're like, okay, I got to pick a profile picture, I got to do an about me, and you can't just call me and ask what to do, because I'm going to say, hey, like, you're you, that's your power, you got to figure out what makes you special. If you follow the rules too generically, then you're just like everyone else. Like, you got to veer off the path a little bit, because you never know, you might open a market that's not even tapped into.
And we have Sarah, we said we have to work for what we want if we really want it. And Vicky agreed.
Nice.
So
Yeah,
I
Eric.
100% agree with that. And when you first started, I know you said, and I think we were speaking about it the other day, and even in the article, for those of you who haven't read it, she just was written about in the New York Post. I'm a millionaire by 28, was it?
So technically it was 21.
I was going to say, I think that when did you first receive that $1 million year?
I remember walking into my accountant's office and he was like, you need to start spending more money to get under this tax bracket. And I was like, really? He's like, get a business vehicle, something. And I was just like, are you serious? Like, you're telling me to go shop?
Oh, okay. Swipe.
Yeah, tax write-offs. What?
And that's another great thing. Like, I'm sure you were buying all your equipment and clothing, you maybe using a personal card, and now it's literally a write-off. I mean, even if you go get a haircut or something, like anything that has to do with your appearance, or even if you're having a meal at the gym while you're creating content, like, write-off. We follow the rules. We follow the rules, though.
Yeah, I default to my account. I'm fortunate. Both my parents are accountants. So I kind of grew up with that sage advice coming in, which I always took for granted. So I never actually listened. But the reason I even started my company, Life of a Fighter, was to have a tax kind of shelter for when I first started fighting, into sponsors and all that fun stuff. But so I wanted to piggyback on that question on what was the most not even like influential, but what was like the biggest thing that you bought once you started to have more of that financial freedom and the ability to do that? It's not like the most value, but that was just the most significant to you.
I got money, and you would never have bought this if you didn't have money. What was the first big purchase?
I mean, I had to be, I was 19. I was cam modeling for 12 months, and I went into the dealership and bought a Mercedes G-Wagon in cash.
Okay.
And I think,
Get it, girl?
well, at that age, you know, like the G-Wagon was a very, like, it was the car. And I had like a whole dream board, and I had it on there. And I took a note from the book Girl Boss, and she said, like, she would manifest everything through her password. So I changed my password to work hard for a wagon or something.
Wow.
And so like I kept manifesting it. And once I got it, it was like, it's like every time I got on the road, like people were just breaking their necks looking at me. If I went to pump gas, it's like, oh, what do you do? Or is that, you know, your dad's money, and sort of thing. So then I got in this different sort of space where a lot of judgment started to latch onto me, and people weren't so supportive of my success. So then I started being extremely quiet about it. Like when I went and got my first pair, like Louis Vuittons, you know, I was like, I can't post these on the internet because everyone's going to hate me. So it was a really like bittersweet thing. And, you know, I got that all out of my system. And then as you get older, you realize, well, maybe I need to start using this money to invest in my future. So those are things that I'm a lot more proud of. But by the time I was 24, I bought my home, which I'm in. It's a
Nice.
3,500 square feet on 3 acres. I think it was listed at like $650K or some sort.
That's it? For that size home?
Well, I'm in a little shit town. So
I know. I'm like,
if this
don't even
house
want to know what I
in
paid.
Charlotte in my hometown, it's easily $1 million house, and now it's raised in value. But I remember like I applied for the loan for the house, and they just immediately approved it. And it was such a big number. I had to get 2 loans because I didn't want to get the jumbo loan, which at the time I'm like, jumbo loan? What? So that was insane. And just being able, like, here's a more significant thing. I think when I was let's call it an adult entertainer working at the club, I remember going into a nice restaurant, and it was the first time I didn't even look at the prices of the food. And I'll just never forget looking at my friend, because she danced with me, and being like, we can literally get whatever we want. And I think a lot of people relate to that anxiety before they even go into a place, like, who's paying? I'm not getting a steak. I'm just getting an appetizer. And I just remember that feeling. And it was, I'd say, for quite some time that continued. You know, of course, you know, the economy changed a little bit. But for me, I've never had that feeling before, or not even like pumping my gas and not even looking at the price. Like, it just, your whole perspective on money started to change.
Yep. I feel like that's a big anxiety for people too. It's like, even till today, I don't know if that would ever change for me, no matter how much money I have, worrying about price. But Mike's asked me like, he has his cult conference mind.
Yeah, cult conference.
You go into this conference that changes your mindset about stuff, but I swear it's a cult instead. And they're just they're gonna kidnap him one day. But he said, like, what's one of your life goals? I want to be able to swipe my credit card or do something and not think about the repercussions, or am I going to make my bills the end of this month? Am I going to be able to do this? And that's really hard for a lot of people. It's really hard.
Even last month, I mean, I recently had to sell my warehouse because my business couldn't afford the overhead. And 2 weeks ago, I was canceling like my Spotify subscriptions and my SoundCloud, and like all, you know how that shit all adds up. You know what I'm saying? And I'm calling my friends like, can I join your account? You know, so like I go back and forth sometimes, and you know, then I remember the day where it's like, oh, YouTube Premium, throw it in the bag. That's fine. So I think being rich or being poor, like they're different perspective shifts, but at the end of the day, you know, success is kind of relative. It's really how you value your happiness. And I can confidently say that I'm so much happier with less money in my account and my money being invested in the right way. I have marketplace the hell out of everything in my house to stay afloat while I'm trying to sell this building. I mean, you can ask the team, they come over, they're like, where's your couch? And I'm like, oh, I'll find one at Goodwill. It's fine.
Yeah, who needs
Wait,
that?
you sold your couch?
Well, I have quite a lot of couches.
Yeah, it's in this particular area couch. And then also Chris wanted me to say, hey, by the way, Anna and
So we
Gina.
got
He
some of
said,
the chat popping off.
Sorry,
We'll say
just
we'll read
keeps-
some
yeah.
things. Pineapple says you have to. I think I read that one. You have to find what you want to do, because people will do things they want to do. Only then you can find success by loving what you actually do. Love what you do. Do what you love. That was one, and everyone was saying the same thing, like thinking about not swiping. That's up and downs are a big factor, and everyone's just saying hi and agreeing with basically everything you mentioned, as far as like, you know, the anxiety, worrying about swiping and stuff like that. I think that's for a lot of people would be a goal. Like, if you don't have to think about what you're spending, it's a huge thing.
And it's funny with, you know, we were talking about the gym clothes and everything. Every once in a while, you know, if I make a nice sale and I get an upsell, it's like all of a sudden I have, you know, an extra 100 in my Cash App account, and I'm like, you know what, I deserve to go get my nails done or something. Like, it's nice to have these side hustles, because what I've learned is through it all, spending my money on self-care has the highest return. And I remember the months where I was like, there's no way I can get $100 massage. And now it's like, I'd rather budget with my groceries so that I can afford, you know, getting the massage I need, because ultimately if my body's relaxed, I can work better, I can breathe better. And anytime, you know, I got a little extra, I'm like, what can I do for myself to feel good? Because I can't go through this stress day to day and just be on this hamster wheel. It's just not worth it. Like, you got to take care of yourself.
100%.
You know,
I feel like
I
a
wanna
whole
piggyback
movement with eyelashes. I didn't do it for a while because I refused to spend 65. Well, up here, I don't know what it costs down there. I feel like everything's cheaper in North Carolina. But $65 for 2 weeks to get a refill on your lashes. For the first appointment's like $125, and then after that is $65 every 2 weeks. And at first, I was like, I'm not doing it. I can't see myself doing it. And then it like literally made me feel like so much better. And even just my nails now, getting my nails done. Like now, I used to not do that at all because I was like, I don't have time. I don't want to spend the money, you know, but it just makes you feel like almost like a whole new person and put more energy into what you're doing. And it all just ties in together where now your business is performing better. If you're performing better, your business is performing better.
And I agree with the eyelash extensions. I know it sounds crazy, but anytime I do them, I never do my makeup before.
Yeah, I don't think.
And then you're saving like an hour of time, and time is money. Like that could be 10 TikToks you make that convert into, you know, monetization or whatever. Like, it's being able to just roll out of bed and you've got these fluffy, gorgeous things on your face. It's, if you know, you know.
You should save each eyelash as it falls out. And that's something to
the Make-A-Wish lash, $10 a strand.
Have you done that before?
Oh yeah.
So do people make wishes on your eyelashes?
I mean, I can get creative as I want. I do a lot of scripts with my sales too, like task lists and whatnot. So it can get as deep and as extended, and it can turn into like a girlfriend experience sort of thing. That's what takes a lot of time and energy as well.
Oh, someone wrote in the chat, sex work can take a toll on you physically and mentally and emotionally. Taking care of yourself has to be a priority.
Boom. That was like the piggyback on you brought up so many good points, and I want to, especially as like a health coach, someone that's into health, I'm also into not only the physical health side of things, but the mental health and burnout. And then the balance between not burning out, how to physically take care of yourself, how to give yourself self-care, how to also have all the different things, being a business owner, having to manage relationships, taking care of yourself, like all of those things. I'm curious if what is the paramount for the rest, and not like maybe more specifically in that question, because I just ranted a whole bunch. When you think of your self-care, what's like, if you had to pick one self-care act, what's the one self-care thing you would go to first over everything else?
I mean, my brain is thinking like, you know, there's obviously services we can pay for. But if I want to kind of dumb it down, I think intentionally shutting everything off and spending time like with my dogs and my partner. like doing that intentionally is a lot harder than just booking a massage. I definitely, like, I have a lot of back problems, like being a pole dancer and being on the computer since I was 8. Like my whole spine is messed up, and being able to get a deep tissue massage. My girl does like Reiki on me. She's pretty much my therapist. Yeah. She's doing spiritual healing and drumming on me and stuff. So every time I leave, I'm like totally enlightened. I'm not in therapy anymore, but that would, if that's necessary for someone, that would obviously be like the first and foremost, like get your mind right and then get your body right. But just the simple act of like, okay, you can either work for 2 more hours and you want to, because you know what your value is and you want to get that little extra that you want. But being able to just put the phone down is self-care. And I don't know why it's the hardest thing for me, but the times I can tune out and tune into things that actually have heartbeats, it's like, I know it sounds cheesy, but you probably, Gina knows, you got your child. Do you have kids as well?
Yes, he has two.
I have 2 daughters.
Y'all know, like being next to a heartbeat, just like it regulates you and it just makes you feel so good. So when I'm in a mound of dogs, I'm just like, okay, like the internet isn't really like a real thing. Like this is real and this is important. And these are real life memories, you know? What about you guys?
Well, I wanted to ask too, I know that you spoke on TikTok recently about everything you were going through as far as your mental health, coming off your medications, if you feel comfortable talking about it. And now you went into, I don't know if I'm allowed to say, the dosing. I don't know if I can say the M word on here, but
I forage in the forest.
There you go.
Okay, ooh, that's a great way. I would love to talk about this in more detail. Not on Amazon.
So burnout led to complete like blackout. Like I remember the breaking point would be when I got in bed. I would just hope that I wouldn't wake up because the stress of dealing with everything was just too much. And when I did wake up, I would just be like so depressed about it. Like there was something about just like complete blackness that was soothing, because nothingness ultimately, it's like meditating. When you can get to that state of nothingness, it's actually very, very healing. And I guess that's what my body craved. So I got to that point and I shared it with a few people I loved. And, you know, I got into therapy, and I call myself smart, I suppose. But sometimes when you're too smart, you're problem solving too fast. And my therapist was like, you know, would you want to try medication? And I'm like, well, if I do, then I don't have enough willpower to figure it out myself. Like, it seems like such a crutch. And I'm so like, I think so low of myself if I have to like pop a pill to exist. And she's like, well, what's the alternative? And I'm like, well, I've tried everything else. Like I've spent so much money trying everything else, everything holistically, you name it. And went to the psychiatrist. And of course, we're in such a mental health crisis where to see a psych, it was like $400 without insurance. And the appointment was 15 minutes. So I go in there and I'm like, okay, so here's my list of things and here's what I've done. Like I'm all prepared, like it's a freaking PowerPoint presentation. And she's like, all right, Lexapro, 30 milligrams, Lamictal, da-da-da. And I'm just like, okay. So I call my mom, she's a nurse, and she's like, okay, those seem like, you know, anxiety, depression, we'll try that. And I was lucky enough that first round of medication actually did me a lot of good. I know a lot of people spend years having to figure out their cocktail, so to speak. But I had gotten to the point where like I couldn't drive because I'd get such chest pains, or if I was eating dinner with people, like I couldn't even eat because I thought if I swallowed, like my food would get stuck in my throat. And it inhibited everything from me living my life. So I started the Lexapro, and I remember the second day I took it, I thought I was tripping because everything was so colorful. I was like, I can see the air, like everything's really great. And my therapist said, you know, when you have no dopamine, like empty bucket, the second you take that serotonin, you're like, whoop. So I was riding that high, and I was like, yes, advocate for medication, like it's great, woo. And at the time, it was a great. I don't even know how to explain like if it fixed me or if it just got me through that period of bad stuff. So let's fast forward 2 years later where it starts wearing off and I'm having to take more. Then I'm getting more side effects. Now I'm taking more medication. Now I start drinking because the business gets so stressful. And then I'm, throwing up because I'm drinking and not eating. And it was just, I was so scared to even go to the doctor because I was like, I'm probably dying on the inside. And I was just silently suffering. So I'll finish this point quickly in case you guys want to head over to YouTube. But I had a magical experience. And during that experience, when I was foraging in the forest, getting stuff off the ground in a I don't know, in that sort of way.
I get it.
Mike knows that very well.
There's a video on my TikTok and on my Instagram where it's that song. It's like, I am woman.
And you have that bra on.
Yeah. So that's when it was all hitting me. And I remember I was like, oh, I can look at my phone. Like I can be conscious while I'm doing all this. And I was looking at my phone and like, I was just pure light and love and just like my inner child had just come out to play. And I remember the next day being like, that's the life I want to live. And that's the life I'm going to choose to live. And I'm going to stop everything else because that's just my personality. It's a little cold turkey. And I did my research. I safely took small elements of that experiment day to day. And it has completely changed my life. I stopped drinking. I do smoke my little sticky to kind of get through that detox, but I've been passing this information to other people and some people in my family too. It's been helping them heal from like PTSD, anxiety. And it's just one of those things where it can just be a one and done type of thing because you're ingesting an intelligent species that is naturally problem solving for you and opening up all these things in your brain that you don't normally have access to. And you'd think I would have done that earlier in my youth and I just never did. And I think it was because of this divine timing that I needed to get through the yuck to come enjoy the yum. And wow, like my life felt like it was crumbling 2 months ago when I had to sell my warehouse and cut half my payroll and totally like start my business from the ground up, like was totally in debt, totally off, just complete shift in my universe. And thank God I had this experience because even on those hardest days, I was just seeing the best parts of it. So, oh, I'm sweating.
But let's give a round of applause for fact realizing that you, I don't know if you want to say needed help or needed to change your lifestyle, because and guys, you guys know that I work with Ana, and we have a work relationship together. I manage her and stuff. And I had when she posted that, I didn't even see her post it. I think I saw the post like 4 days later. And I went to my husband, like, how did I not know she was going through this? Like, how did I not realize any of this was going on? Like,
I think everyone in my life did the same thing. They were like, Ana, what happens? And I'm like, I'm just a silent sufferer. Like everyone clocks out at night and I'm on different Ana time, like trying to just exist. And it's hard.
You know what it is too? Social media makes you have a persona of being so happy all the time and being so,
you're giving it all away and then you're empty on gas at the end of the night. And I had an identity crisis too. I didn't know who I was anymore because I was going from event to content and having to just turn on this person for everyone else because I care about other people more than I do myself.
Oh, and everyone's clapping you in the chat too and sending hearts. When I said a round of applause, we got some claps. Thank you guys. And we see your chats. We're answering them as much as we can. And I think it's hard for people to admit that they would need to change their lifestyle. They need to do this. And sometimes just asks for help. And it's okay if you're on medication. And I don't think that's, a bad thing too. Me personally, I think I'm very scared of it. I've had issues with anxiety and depression before. And even recently just feeling very, very not like myself. And even my husband said, like, maybe you should go talk and see about medication or something. And there's this, I'm too scared to get on a medication. I don't know if it's going to help me, hurt me. And also with Mike knows with our family, there's a lot of problems with addiction. A lot.
And I think you get to the point where I had to get to the point where I had no other option. And it was like, what's the worst case scenario? It doesn't work for me. And I stop. But I think after that 2-year mark, I got this huge anxiety. I was like, am I going to have to take this my whole life? And that was where this daily anxiety, where it's like, you wake up and you're like, okay, which pills do I take? Okay, it's 2:00. Okay, now my sleeping pill. Like then you're just like, oh my, like I'm 28 years old and I have a medicine cabinet like my grandpa. You know, I think that was just a lot for me. But like you said at the beginning, being able to remember, like, get that dopamine again, it actually helped, because I did move into the warehouse that time, and I was able to actually like work around people and meet other influencers and really scale up my business, that had I not taken that, you know, courage to even just try, I would have either just stayed as a very micro influencer or not even be here. It was, you know, it was like the only light in the tunnel I could see. And I was like, you know, I at least should do this for my family if I don't even want to do it for myself.
Oh, we had someone say Anna is literal goals. And I felt that tears of a clown, but you put on a happy face for others. Yes, JC Mama 3, Sarah. Hi, Gizmo. And I think I'm pronouncing this Marcelli. Marcelli. I'm trying my best to pronounce it. I have the word.
Maricelli. I'm gonna give it a go. I'm gonna say Maricelli, but I don't know if that's true.
Guys, we are. Go ahead.
And I don't know if you want to switch over. I did have a question for you guys, and let me know if you want to save it for that. But I'm having a lot of difficulty trying to navigate setting boundaries now that I know my self-worth and my value. But I'm such a lover and I want to help, but I'm just empty out of gas, and I'm having a hard time saying no to people or no to things, or just setting boundaries in general, or cutting off friends that feel toxic to me now that I'm like in a really good spot. And it's like, I've never had to navigate these things before because I've been a friend to whomever. And that's where the new glorious lesson is going.
Guys, I know I want to tell everyone we're gonna start ending the stream here on Amazon, and we're live on YouTube only because we have to keep it PG here for you guys on Amazon. But what we want to do is hop on over. We are on YouTube already. We're live on YouTube. So all you guys have to go is to YouTube. You could either search my name, you could search Anna's name. The link is on the website down below, GMC Influence. So if you guys can hop on over there, and we're announced the winners and everything over there, because we can't talk and say certain things here on Amazon. So we kept it as PG as possible. We really want to dive into the deep sea here, if you will. So, oh wait, should I do it like this?
I want to go into the deep sea with Anna.
Oh, jeez.
I'm just kidding.
Oh, jeez.
Don't give me equipment. All right, guys. So we're gonna give you about a minute to hop on over. You'll find our YouTube if you need a link. Again, gmcinfluence.com. You can find any of our stuff. The Professional Goddess is theprofessionalgoddess.com. Correct?
Just search Professional Goddess on YouTube. It's live right now, guys. So I hope you head over there, and you can ask some more questions if you want to get some deeper answers to what we just talked about, so that we can be all open.
All right, guys. So I'm gonna click end on my. We're ready all at the same time. Should we all click end?
All right.
I'm gonna take a risk here. I'm gonna do a little A/B test with you guys. I'm gonna leave one of my channels open, and I'm gonna end the other, and we're gonna see what happens.
Michael,
how do you feel about it? Well, actually, let me leave that. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I'm gonna drop one out, because worst case if the other one gets taken down. But I want to make sure that's okay with you, Anna, because I don't want to. You know.
No, you risk it all.
Yeah. That's what I'm saying. It's my channel.
Thank you, Brandy. We got Heidi hopping over. Thank you guys for actually coming on over. So yes. Oh, look at everyone's hopping over. Yes, you guys are. And again, a quick shout out to if there's anything you want to highlight in your carousel really quickly. Yes, Anna's book is down there in her carousel. Yes. I have Mayono products, everything in my studio that you saw. All right. Yes. Everyone's hopping over to.
Let's go.
To the YouTube. We already got the chat popping. Let's go.
Yeah, Kelly.
All right. You tell me when.
All right. I'm doing it. 1, 2, and a 3. Bye, guys, on Amazon Live.
I am.
I love all the disclaimers so that if an Amazon rep is reviewing it the whole time, we're like, we followed the guideline.
Yeah, it's like everything's cool. This is all within the policies.
Okay, let's see. We got the chat. Everyone's JC mom here. Okay, look, everyone. Ooh, guys, you are amazing
What's
for
up,
coming.
y'all?
That takes a lot. And I know it's going to sound stupid from a marketing standpoint to make
Yeah.
people
Yes.
transfer from one platform to another. So you guys mean you are the loyal Heidi, loves your podcast. No more PG talk. Fuck.
Yeah,
Fuck.
Evans.
Fuck. No kidding.
Did I have the book? Aw, what's your favorite part about the book, Marceli Mejia? I'm saying that right.
I think you are.
And if anyone's wondering, obviously, foraging, we were talking about magical mushrooms, and
Yes.
there is a beautiful documentary on Netflix. If you just, I think I sent it to you, Gina. If you just Google like mushroom
Yes,
documentary on Netflix, I think it's Fantastical Fungi or something. But they really go behind the science and all of that stuff. I mean, it comes from the ground, but the thing is, this day and age, you want to make sure you have a reputable source, and there are, do your research and figure that out, because every mushroom is different.
Oh, Brandy T says, okay, goddess, you were a stripper, so was I.
Okay.
Yes.
Oh my gosh. If everyone had a chance to just, be a stripper for a week, it's like,
I want to learn. I really want to learn, like, just pole dancing in general. Like, I want to take a class so bad. I feel like it's such an amazing workout, too.
But even just learning how to deal with assholes at a young age, I think that upped my confidence and empowerment so much, because anytime someone said shit to me, I'm like, I just have to exist and someone will tip me. And I'm curious if after selling, some of your used stuff, if you feel that kind of empowerment now, if you feel.
Oh yes,
like
tell us about your profile.
So
Can you send
I
it to us?
want to know about if the communication.
Yeah,
with
I'll
the
send.
clients.
I'm also like I'm gonna be really transparent with you guys. Gina,
I
I don't even
want
know if you know this. I'm gonna tell you something. I don't even know if you knew this about me. So I used to like dance at parties when I was younger. Like, when I was like 17, 18, I would get paid to go to parties and like take my clothes off. Whatever you want to call that. Like fun fact.
Like a bachelorette party, like Magic Mike-esque kind of thing?
No, it was more for like the moms of the kids I went to school with. It was like,
they're pedophile. Is that
I don't know, dude. I don't know whatever
you
you
are
want to call that.
underage, Mike? That's illegal.
So it started. So this is how it started. It started first. They would just give me alcohol to like take my clothes off.
Going.
Yeah. So but it started with like kids I would go to school with. Like, they're like, hey, take it. Like, here's a 6-pack. Take your clothes off. I'm like, yeah, awesome. Like, and just at the time, to your question, to feel validated at my point in this point of my life, that was my way of feeling validated. I thought like, oh, okay, either you want to sleep with me or you want to show me some kind of physical affection. That's like my validation. And sorry, now I'm just reading like the comments too.
Yeah,
we got a lot of comments going on too. So I'm highlighting some on the screen too, so you could see them, literally all of it.
It's like if you're in school and you're the kid that can do backflips and stuff. Everyone's like, do a backflip,
Yes.
And you're like, okay, there's my value.
That was well, exactly. And I had just lost weight because I was always heavy as a kid. So I just lost weight. I just started feeling good about my body. Like I was like, I'll take my clothes off for like nothing. I just want to like do that. And then it slowly progressed to like, then actually, dude, one time these girls didn't pay me. They showed up to a house party at my mom's house. So like and Gina obviously knows my mom. So I go to answer the door naked. I fall down the stairs and I was going to go mess with these kids. And after I put my clothes on, come back up. And I was like, yo, mom, those are the girls I told you about. They stiffed me. They didn't pay me. So my mom collected the money that they owed me. It was like $80, it wasn't like really a crazy amount of money.
You got naked, so you deserve it.
Yeah. And my mom, she's just like, that's not right. I'm going to go talk to them. Like,
yeah. You see, my mom, she put me through ballet and tap dance. So I blame her for my stripper antics.
Yes, Brandy. I used to climb to the tip of the pole, 2 tricks to the halfway, and drop down to a split on the floor.
Get that drop.
That's my girl.
Yeah,
I was doing, I'm really good at headstands. I did some break dancing as well. So one of my moves on stage is I would do a headstand and I, twerk my legs. And I was doing it in front of a customer once and I lost my balance and just fell towards him, and by the magic of God, I landed right in his lap. It just straddled, and I just kept going, and I will never forget that moment. It was like a movie, but I'm sure the manager was like, a liability.
Any of you watch the show P Valley?
Mm-mm.
Okay, so it's about strippers and strip clubs and stuff like that on HBO. It's like, did you watch Power?
Let's see.
I know the show, but I've never watched it.
You know the show Power, Anna?
Ooh, I'm gonna look into this. What's the other one? Power.
Power. It's like the same show, but P Valley is about strippers in New Orleans. And New Orleans, am I saying it right? I feel like I'm saying it. New Orleans.
I would say New Orleans, but I also say Vegas and not Vegas, or Nevada instead of whatever.
I say lawyer. I don't know if that's
water.
What about water, coffee, lawyer, bagels?
Coffee.
Like now we're just saying words. Like I'm just like how do we pronounce words? How does that work?
We've done that before. Remember weren't we live once, Mike? And everyone's like, Gina, we could totally tell you're from New York. And I'm like, what?
Say sauce. Say sauce. Sauce. What about, so I don't want to pronounce because I don't want to give it away. You make stick. Well, all right. It's a cheese, and you can also make sticks out of it.
Mozzarella.
Yeah. So that's why I'm.
Ignore me, please.
I didn't even hear what you said, but I just heard
mozzarella.
Yeah, so I was just curious because like I've heard it, like like mozzarella, like we're not making matzo balls. It's not like matzo, it's mozzarella, like wet mutz. I call it wet mutz. That's also a weird pronunciation or like a phrase for mozzarella cheese.
Ooh, someone said they started pole dance classes. Hold on. Trying to find the comment.
Now we're going back to the comments, y'all.
So many comments. I'm trying to keep up here. We see you guys. Don't worry. I just started pole a couple weeks ago. I need to do pole. I want to do pole dancing classes.
Well, this is another thing with pole dancing. You see a lot of influencers doing pole fitness, and it becomes kind of like glorified, but people will still shame the strippers because they're making money doing it. Or people will glorify OnlyFans models, because they're at home and they're making $1 million a month, but they will shame escorts and people who pay for company. So I think that's kind of a really interesting thing when it comes to just the whole aesthetic of sex work in general, because especially I feel like it's my duty as an influencer to show the dark side of it, because you have all these girls who could be in my place and just be like, look at my G-Wagon, look at my house. And I'm like, here's me breaking down in my G-Wagon because X, Y, and Z. There's a lot of hard shit behind it. And I don't know with your experience selling, the MMA stuff, if you've had a moment of panic or stress, kind of being in this different side hustle and industry and kind of feeling some of the darkness of it at all. Me, Gina, I like to get dark.
So here's what I was going to say before too. And this is a weird, once I started having daughters, it started maybe think about this, and I don't mean to bring up a sense, but I've never walked down the street thinking am I about to be jumped or raped or taken advantage of? And I think there's a difference in society, and maybe just from my experience of being raised, I've never thought that. And I was I think about my daughters, I have a 4-year-old and a 2-year-old. My 4-year-old already knows how to fight. I've trained her, she knows what's up. And my 2-year-old, she can grapple already. She just doesn't throw the best hands. And I don't want them to ever have to need these skills, but I think about that component. So the dark side of just life and where society, I think, can judge, and the feelings. I didn't feel it for that. What I felt more of, which was weird, is not even with this stuff. It's when you talked about identity before, when I went from being a fighter, it's who am I if I'm not a fighter? When I officially decided to retire. But once I did that, dude, I'll sell anything. I don't have attachments or judgments. I think it was freeing. Being a fighter was actually more freeing that, because our grandfather, Poppy, did I ever tell you this? Poppy threatened me one time, not in a dark way, but he's bro, you want to fight, man? I'll fight you right now. You don't need to go make a career out of this. I worked hard for you to go to college and do all those things. We can fight right now. That's totally fine. And it felt like shame and those kind of things. So from being a fighter was where I think I felt more of that but once I got past that, so I went on a long-winded rant that I don't know if any of that makes sense, but yeah.
I really want to see Mike's profile. I'm really curious. As long there's no there's
Oh yeah,
no.
hold on. Let me see if I can log in. Can I show? Because I use
Well,
Sniffer.com.
this is so funny because when I shared what I was doing with my brother, because I was like, at some point it might come across.
Great episode.
On because my brother saw me on his For You page, one of my like Q-tip videos on TikTok, and he was like, "Hey Anna, saw you. Like, kind of weird, but love you." So I admire the.
How was your family when you first started all this? When you started stripping? When you started like?
I was totally anonymous for I want to say the first 3, especially because I was like 18 to 21. I was so ashamed of it. I was wearing clothes to cover my tattoos, like putting makeup on them. Like I didn't want anything leaked anywhere. I just wanted some side income, especially to fuel the businesses that I was starting. But especially dancing and everything, like I was completely, I mean, in the club I was empowered, but in real life, like I had to come to Thanksgiving and I had like a mock Etsy store that I created to just show my family what I was doing.
Wow.
Like, why did you go to college? And I'm like, look, I have a small business. I'm a big girl.
Small business.
Which is also was kind of nice having like this dirty little secret as well for a while. So it was, once I started talking about it on TikTok, it was still extremely nerve-wracking. Like I didn't tell any of my friends I was on TikTok. I was Rebecca Blue for like 200K until I even went on Instagram and shared my TikTok because I was like, I'm having so much fun being myself. And I have this new following on TikTok that like loves me and supports me and isn't just like my Instagram followers from high school and stuff. So I think a lot, it's especially now with getting all this press and everything, people are really seeing all the sides of me on all my platforms now, which is a little nerve-wracking, but I'm just at this point like I can't go back. No more backpedaling.
No, not at all. But so the first initial of that, like, did you sit them down and like, hey, this is what it, or did you let them find the social media?
Well, they're not really on social media, I'd say. Like, you know, my dad works for a church, and I actually didn't talk to my dad for about 8 years. So that whole side of my family had no idea what I was doing. But thank goodness my mom, she's my biggest fan. I actually told her on one of my podcast episodes at the end, I was like, if she knows she's being recorded, she'll be extra supportive. And I did the same thing with my brother too. And I was shocked how supportive they were. Then really everyone else, like my aunt, she was the one who would bail me out of jail. So she didn't care. But everyone was pretty, you know what it is? When people see that you're making money and helping them with their bills, they let shit slide. Okay.
Like,
that
cool.
is the thing.
You hit the nail on the head because I think a lot of family members are like, oh, are you really making money? But if not, then we're not going to support, no matter what it is. If you're not making money from it, we don't support you. If you're making millions of it, yes. Someone asked, why were you in jail?
Which time?
I had a fake ID when I was 16. It was a really good one. So I was literally like working at clubs at night, like doing bottle service and going to high school the next day. Like doing like whatever, like club promo stuff. And I had Ana Dee photography, like way back when, before, like, you know, now at the clubs, there's always a photographer running around.
Yeah.
I was doing that at house parties, getting people to pay me for photos, selling beers out my trunk. Like I was always a hustler. So I was naturally just wasted during first quarter all the time. And so yeah, one Thursday night, had a little too many, and I drove a lot drunk. I just was, when you're that young, you feel like you're invincible. So got pulled over, went blue like way too much. I ended up, my friend told me if I stalled when they pulled me over, that my like alcohol level would go down if I just keep like stalling them before I blow. So I ended up like pulling a whole Anna, and I just like totally ripped off my clothes and started running around naked, like catch me if you can. Like I am not blowing.
No.
There's bees.
When I got to jail, I was 17, and I'm like, I'm not supposed to be here. I'm not 18. And I ended up like going in the bathroom and like shoving my head in the toilet because like no one would pay attention to me. Like everyone was like, shut up, little girl. Like you're in this big waiting room with all these people. And I'm like, let me talk to the magister, which is apparently a magistrate. I think that's what it's called. So eventually they let me. I was basically trying to pull a psychotic breakdown so I could get out of there. It didn't work out too well. And again, my parents were like, you got to pay for this. Like, you got yourself in this mess. And I was going to a Christian school at the time, and they kicked me out of school. I was on the front page of the Slammer. I was just wet.
Oh my. Is that picture somewhere right now?
I'm trying to get it on a mug so I can sell my mug shot.
I won't wait. We see this right now.
No, I've tried to find it, but I think I have a lawyer friend who might be able to dig for it. It was just so long ago. But that's what got me into stripping, because I didn't have a license. I couldn't drive, but my stripper friend, she didn't have a car, but she could drive. So we were like a match made in heaven. So then I was basically dancing underage for a while. And, then my mom came into one of the clubs and pulled me off the pole and ended up having to strip out of town so that she wouldn't catch me. But I was relentless. I'm like, I am making this money. Like, you can't stop me.
Was your mom like a strict mom? Did you have like a curfew, or were you like, because you seem like
it was
at 16 selling beers out of your truck and taking photos.
Not
that your mom wasn't on top of you, but what was going on?
I'm a Scorpio. Like I guess I lived like a Hannah Montana double life. Like, I got straight A's so I could get away with anything. I just flew under the radar. You know what I mean? Like, I knew if I kept my grades up that I could always get a second chance at anything. And I was just really smart. Like, she put security cameras in the house and I just knew where to hop over them. It was like, I think that just helps with my problem solving skills these days.
How does see that is something wait, hold on one second. Chris wants to ask. Okay, can I ask you something, Chris? Go ahead, write it in the chat, Chris, and we'll ask her. I had strict parents too. I feel like most strict parents don't support their kids' hustle unless they're doing something they find to be wholesome. Okay, someone wrote Scorpio exclamation point. Guys, we're trying to keep up with the chat the best we can. We actually got a lot of people talking in the chat. I don't know if you see it too, Anna. You can see the StreamYard as well, but we see both channels at the same time. In case you guys are confused, GMC Influence and the Professional Goddess channels are both live. Oh. You're not seeing the same chats. That's why there's a disconnect.
Like, who is this imposter?
They're like, yeah, because some people are like, I'm confused. I don't see the same thing you're seeing. So that's there, guys. And again, thank you so much for joining, everyone, for being here. We are going live here with the Professional Goddess, diving into some stories, hanging out, chatting it up. We hopped off Amazon Live because we wanted to talk about some stuff and didn't want to feel like we wanted to keep. Mike, is your thing getting shut down at all? Is it?
Still- I got a little nervous and I ended it. I couldn't hold it together, man. I got nervous.
Oh, wait, Anna, I deal with mental health issues, and if I need to talk to you, can I? That is my question.
It says Chris at the end.
So can I just throw something out there really quick too? So here's what I would suggest too, in general, is I think this is going back to a point before. I think it's very important to have these conversations, and I wanted to applaud Anna for having the courage to share that, and Gina for you having the courage to share those things and being able to provide a space where people like Chris can be able to share something like that. Now, on the other side of it, I think it's important to understand we're people and we want to have a community. We want to support you. When it comes to things like this, it's very, very, very important to also make sure not only you have a support structure and community, but where you're dealing with professional help and support as well, because it's a very slippery slope. So while we're here to support you guys, and we're obviously a community, also 988 is a great number to always keep in mind and to leverage for mental health and anything that we need there. And know that I think just being able to bring that up, I think that's a really powerful thing. So I'm sorry, I just got like really, really hyped on that. And I just wanted to step in and like throw all that out there.
And you could speak on this. I think there's also a thing about boundaries too.
Yeah, I was gonna say, going back to boundary, that's a great opportunity for boundary talk.
Yes. So I know a lot of people from just managing Anna reach out to her and want to talk to her. And I know it's a case-by-case basis. And I'll let her embellish on that. But I also think there's a thing between following and boundaries. So don't ever anyone, and then this goes for anyone across the board. If you see a celebrity or someone who's TikTok famous, you reach out to them, they don't answer or don't have that. Don't be insulted. There just has to be a line of.
I'll put it this way. The past year, in a heartbeat, I would have picked up the phone and called someone if they were in distress. But what would happen is I would get in an episode, because I'm such an empath, that it would affect me for like the next 3 days. And how can I provide to the greater of the community if I can't be at my height and fueled up to provide that information? So it's more of like, come to the lives if you want to chat. Like, these are a safe space so that we can have those situations. But once the live cuts off, again, I have to figure out how I can shut down and be able to take a step back and feel myself. Because I've really had some hard days, because everyone's going through a lot, and it's just extremely hard for me to again try to set professional and personal boundaries. But one thing I have learned in therapy that I practice with my friends a lot, before I just call them and I'm like, oh my God, guess what happened? A really great thing to do is say, I'll be like, hey Paige, like, I had a hard day. Do you mind if I share it with you? And it's a really, really great thing to do in your life, because you don't realize how many people may not have the capacity to digest that. And you want them in a space that they're, say, hey, can I ask your advice? Or no, it's the other way around. Say you were to tell me about your day, then I could say, hey, would you like my advice? Like, there's different ways to navigate those in a really healthy way. Cause I think we're so used to just whenever we're going through something hard, just to kind of spew it out. But sometimes that can be dangerous. But if you're feeling like you're having a hard time, I think it's definitely a signal for action. And there's been a lot of times where I just Google free therapy, and I will send all the links I can, because one thing I know is therapy is really expensive. And luckily there are some options out there that you can do, or really go on YouTube, and maybe there's a source of trauma that you're going through. That's like, for me, I have daddy issues. So I could go on a YouTube hole of how to find enlightenment via daddy issues.
No, wait, is there really like YouTube channels for that?
I mean, there's the Headspace app is a really great meditation app. And I know they have a YouTube channel. Even if I'm just having anxiety or stress at night, they have a lot of great videos that have graphics with them that just kind of give me a little more perspective that, like, hey, like, let's be in the now moment and not stress about everything at once. But I think, I don't know. I've never, I guess, me silently suffering, I've never reached out to other people. So I can't understand that. I'm just the giver. So it then in turn turns me into a pushover, and then I'm spiraling out of control.
I think we all live, or should I say not everyone lives like this. Some people are very, very selfish. And I think Mike and I, especially when it comes to our family, learned we give a lot. We're very, very big givers, and we take on a lot, and we take on a lot of responsibility. And I see that with you too, Anna. You seem like you take on a lot too, and you seem that you're willing to take. And when I say take, like, give help to someone and not worry about yourself. And we've had to learn that we've got to say no. Like, we've got to like say, I'm not supporting you in this, or whether it's something with, like, when I'm talking about personally, drug addiction or my family or anything supporting that, like, just because your blood doesn't mean I need to support you.
I mean,
and support can look different ways.
Of course.
People, right.
And how you'd set up boundaries with this, like with your family, or even say followers too. How did you maneuver that in the field that you are, and with that following and managing yourself and your mental health?
Well, with my brother, he had some episodes 2 years ago, and I tell my therapist about it, and she kept saying, like, he needs to go to therapy. He needs to. And he's just big, hard, macho no. And I remember at Thanksgiving, I wrote it down how I was going to say it to him. And I said, Matt, I cannot pick up the phone until you go to therapy, and I will pay for it too. So I set a line, and he actually went, and now he is in the best shape of his life. And he thanks me every time we talk that I saved his life. And I'm like, no, you did it. I just gave you the push you needed. So secondly, with my followers, I set my first boundary last week. I turned off my story replies, because I post like 20 stories every day, and at least 100 people will just
I was wondering about that. I'm like, what happened? I can't.
Well, it's crazy because, like, people will just respond with emojis and they won't even say anything. And I'm like, you're just flooding my DMs from like people I really need to help like navigate to resources. And you're really inhibiting other people. And it's just like, I mean, with my close friends, I'll do it. Like I'll send some fire emojis and everyone intakes that stuff differently. But it got so aggravating. You're at dinner and people are just, and I need to be focused on keeping my business alive and keeping my employees thriving. So I turned off story replies, but then I just realized people were still DMing me. And then Elizabeth, who's in the chat, she was like, you can just block messages and only have it be like from the people you follow. So I did that. And I like the past 4 days, I've barely been getting any DMs. And I'm like, what's going on? This is so weird. I feel like I'm not connecting with my people. So I'm still like really struggling with that. But in hindsight, my sales have been up because I've been putting time into my empire, which is going to help the greater good. So I'm still struggling with that, just that one boundary alone. But I had a friend today too, and I kind of told her like, you can just turn off the story replies. And I had no idea that was a thing. But again, the empath in me is I'm like, are all my people okay? Do y'all need me?
Are you there? Hello out there.
But I embrace any other boundary setting. I think my only other tactic is that I've put people around me. I call them my linebackers, like especially with projects and collaborations. I have Gina and Elizabeth. They're like 2 walls to get through before they can get to me. And that's also a security measure, which has been extremely fruitful because people are like, I'll send you this. And I'm like, yes, free stuff. And Gina's like, know your worth. If you post that, they're going to make $1 million and they're using you.
I'm a big advocate to know.
Preach.
Don't get me wrong. We all have those 1 or 2 jobs that we do things in exchange. When we're talking about influencer stuff, doing it in exchange for products and so forth. But you got to know your worth. And I think in this industry too, everything from sex work to being an influencer and stuff like that, you got to know your worth. And even with your family and your personal life, I'm a big person. And sometimes we don't even believe I could say know your worth till the end of the fucking day. But sometimes, my husband has to remind me, know your worth, know what you do when it comes to a business deal or feeling, I guess I'll be a little bit transparent. Like I went to an event.
I was gonna ask you, like, what are you anxious about? What's going on? You want to talk?
Yeah, right. Let's dig deep
You want
here.
to talk about it?
Okay, I guess. All right. So let's just start from square one really quickly. I'll go as fast as possible. The last 3 months, Mike, sorry, TMI, I haven't gotten my period in 3 months and it was freaking me out. Okay.
Oh.
Got blood work done, not blood work, got tests done, got everything, not pregnant. So I've been super emotional. They put me on a medication to try to get it come back and still not working. But during this whole period, I could feel my hormones being out of whack because I can't go on birth control until my period comes again.
Yeah.
Yes. So I can't start taking it. And I feel the shifts in myself. I feel myself being irritated more. I'm now texting my husband like I'm the biggest girl in the room here. I feel so uncomfortable. I want to leave.
Ooh.
Like I don't want to be here. Like I don't feel comfortable in my own skin. I'm hating my own body. I'm sorry. And it was just all these emotions that like I've never felt before. And I've been self-conscious.
Hormones are a bitch.
Yeah. And it's really shitty. And like to the point where like, I know body dysmorphia is a thing. And our family and ex-Mike has dealt with food addiction, everything. When I say my family's dealt with addictions, we've had like binging and eating, like not eating, stuff like that. And I've dealt with that growing up. So
we're really short too, and I relate because there's a lot of short people,
like
but I'm like, we only go out.
Exactly. And I've done every diet, Mike. I try to stick to a diet. I try to work out. I've been so busy with work and everything. I don't even remember why I started this rant now at this point.
I said what's an anxiety?
Anxious.
Because I know you.
Yeah, and I'm trying to feel comfortable in my own skin and feel good about myself. And it's your self-worth. That's where we're coming from. And I preach self-worth a day in and day out. But sometimes when we look in the mirror, I don't see it right now, and I'm trying my best to. And you are beautiful. Thank you.
Aww.
Thank you. But also, hey, I was 109 pounds at one point. 90 pounds even. I think at one point when I did my fitness competitions, I am now 145 pounds. So it's really hard to look in the mirror and feel good about yourself. And I know I had a baby. I was like, you just had a baby. I get that. Like, I know I push out a whole human, but doesn't mean this extra 50 pounds on my body doesn't feel like shit, you know? And I'm trying to be positive, you know?
I know what it feels like to have expectations for yourself. If I gain 10 pounds, I don't make as much money on OnlyFans as I do. And that really fucks me up deeply. And it's
really that big of a notice, like, so that happened.
Yeah, and it's so weird though, because like if I'm working out and being fit, it's like then some people are like, well, are you taking steroids? And I'm like, you know what, I can never make anyone else happy. But my other question would be, you know, what self-care have you been doing or thinking about doing to kind of help combat, like coming to terms with loving that vehicle you have? Because I like to say, like, it's the only one we have, and it changes and it shape shifts, you know. And even if you get down to 120 tomorrow, you know, it's good to kind of anticipate just not being 120 the next day, because it's never going to be the same, because we're constantly just intaking and outtaking. But have you thought about some different types of self-care? Like, I know we talked about medication, but is there anything else you have time to do or could make time for?
I'm trying my best to go. I want to get into routine again. And Mike, I was doing his cleanse and doing everything. I started losing weight and I was doing great on it. Being consistent is my biggest problem.
Wait, pause. I don't want to hear you were doing great. Now, this is actually a great opportunity to what you're talking about. Can I offer you some coaching right now? Or can I offer you something?
Here comes a cult conference.
Yeah, this is my cult conference reframe. So Anna, when I talk about like psychological stuff, we go to cult conference now because it's all like emotional intelligence kind of stuff, which, believe it or not, I was actually going to share with you. And I think you should look up, just Google, don't look up the cult stuff. Scratch that. No. Look up, this is not even it. Look up just positive intelligence quotient. This is just, it's from a professor from
intelligence, what?
Quotient. I don't even know how to spell quotient. I'm going to be honest with you. I want to say it's Quotient, right? Maybe.
Grab a tissue really quick.
But the guy's name's Shazad. I just started a CEU course with him. And point is, I think you'd find it very interesting because they make you take a quiz and they give you like, hey, like my biggest saboteurs is what they call them. The biggest things that hold me back are I'm a controller. So if I don't have control, I freak out. I'm a people pleaser. So I'll say yes to everything to fill my schedule, and then I'm stressed and I resent the people I say yes to. That's just as an example.
Okay, love that.
And then the third one is, oh man, what's my third one? I gotta like look it up on my phone right now. But the point is, it'll tell you like, hey, here's some of the things based on this assessment, and it's not perfect, but I thought you might find it interesting. But I also don't want to add another variable to your crazy task list of things.
No, well, like when my downtime, when I'm in bed, like being able to not read about like sex work and blogs and stuff, like I love strengthening my brain as well, and I love like personality quizzes and whatnot, because the thing, like I want you to say what you want to say to Gina, but all these feelings you're having, like they're signals of some type, like there's some sort of lesson to be had here. And, you know, I don't want to suggest the mushrooms, but
you know what? I told my husband about it and I'm scared. I'm generally scared. Again, the whole addiction thing in my family really freaks me out. Like, everyone has a problem in my family. I'm not saying I have a food addiction. I have a problem with foods. That's my problem. And I'm still dealing with it.
The mushrooms have so much intelligence that it like for me, when I tried drinking after taking them, my body was like, oh no, that's toxic. Like you don't need more than one. And I literally felt sick. Like, you know, they kind of mess with your stomach because it's such an active substance, but it can help with that.
Where does one even get that? Like in New York, isn't it? Like how
I got you. Don't worry, I got you. So
and that's the thing, you don't have to trip balls. Like you can take time. Like if you can smoke weed, like they're in the same family. Like to me, if I take a dab or smoke weed, like I'm almost too buzzed. Like the mushrooms.
That's what I'm saying. If I smoke weed, I'm incapacitated. So like that's a bad example for me.
A small amount of it can still be enough to get the job done, but you're not going to be floating around. It's almost like when you have a cup of coffee and you're like, oh, I feel good. Like it's a similar like burst of energy. You don't have to trip balls, you know?
You know what I think it is? I'm scared of wanting more. I think I'm scared of spiraling, and it goes from being a medication to having the self, which again, obviously my husband would help me. But again, you know, if someone's turning into an addict, they're turning into an addict. But I don't want to ever fall into the point of where like I go from using it as a medication and now I'm abusing it. And I'm scared.
And I want to say that, you know, the next day I was like, ooh, I want to do this again. That was so great. But again, it's telling your body when there's too much, like you can't trip every day, or there's no way. You're going to be so tired from the day before. You're not going to want to, you know? And I'd say for 3 weeks, I was microdosing every day. And then it got to the point where I'd wake up and I'd forget to do it. And then 2 days would go by and then be like, oh, let me take a little more. And now I'm having these blocks in between. And I'm like, wow, like I'm actually not like addicted to these things. It's a really weird.
There's no withdrawal. Like if you feel like
no.
Okay, that's the
but
thing I was.
You know, my team will realize when I start stressing about everything at once, that's my signal that I need my little brain buddy to be like, hey, remember, this is just one moment. So, and it's the tiniest little bit. Like if you're talking this much to be like see things moving and everything, like we're talking the size of like a booger, you know, like and you don't, you know, but if you want to have that tripping experience and really dive into like years and layers of work you want to do, you can. It's just completely up to you how much learning you want to take on.
I think I'm scared of that too. Also, one obviously it would have to be like a whole planned experience because someone has to watch my.
That's exactly what I did. I booked a boat in Florida and I watched the sunset and I the whole time, and I knew I was safe. I put all the technology away. Like you can create that experience and be around someone that will be your protector. I forgot what I was going to say.
I think too. Go ahead.
Fear is worse than the worst thing from actually happening. You know what I mean? Like you're going to get through that trip and you have no choice but to feel enlightened. You know what I'm saying? So like the fear of being enlightened is actually scarier than breaking through that, you know, and you're going to keep pushing and pushing until a wall until you finally combust. And by that point, it's like, you'll want to try anything, you know, and medication might be a good direction, or some deep soul searching with Mother Earth.
I think I'd rather try Mother Earth before the medications. I've seen a lot of people, but again, I'm coming from a world where I've seen people abuse medications.
Yeah.
So I'm scared of that happening. And also I don't ever want to be a zombie. I know a lot of the medications at first, and like you said, it can take years, and I don't want to miss years of my daughter's life before I figure out, you know, my balance. I'd rather try something natural, whether, you know, for anxiety, I've seen family members or even just friends, Xanax and what it does and how you could barely speak. And I would be scared even to hold my daughter at that point. You know what I mean? So I think the more natural thing is for me, I mean, I got to talk to the husbands too. I don't think he'd be against it. I think he definitely supports everything I do. And we've talked about it before, you know, and stuff like that. It's just, I think I'm more scared. Like you said, I'm scared and I'm more of the fear behind it. Robin goes, guys, we see the comments. And Mike, I know you raised your hand. Hold on. Let's just see the comments really quick.
Yeah, hit those comments. I think they're trying to get their giveaway on, you know?
And all those feelings are super valid, especially when you have a daughter involved. And I can't speak for your daughter, but I know she wants what's best for you. And whatever, you know, healing is not linear. So one path might be a little crazy, but it'll eventually lead you to where you want to be. Because what's amazing is that you want to heal and that you're not like stubborn and stuck in this pain. You know, you have a desire and seeking for it. So just be patient with yourself, you know?
I'm trying. I think I'm the biggest thing I'm scared of failure. Oh, Mike, you had your hand raised. Talk about it. I didn't want to like cut you. You raised your hand before?
Yeah. I mean, I have a few variables I was picking out. But one thing,
let's listen to Mike.
Can I share a quote with you, Anna? Or Anna, you know this quote, I'm sure. But with Eugenia, that Anna made me think about that. I don't know the origins of it, but I've had it chopped up different ways. And we're not scared that we're inadequate. We're actually scared that we're powerful beyond measure. And the idea of being able to step into that power. And anyways, so that was like one thing. And then I was going way back. If I could offer you something, the one thing I would offer is a question. And this is what I want to ask you is like, what would you do? Also, Anna, can I just say, like, dude, I've gone through like over a decade of like training, like certified trainer, academic stuff, like coaching, all that fun stuff. dude, you speak my language. Like I love like just
Aw.
the way you present things in that sense of it. And like, I heard it on the podcast because I've listened to different episodes of your podcast. Like you and your brother also, that was a great podcast. I like just when you guys were cruising in the car, it was great listening. But
no, I'll have to ask you later. I'd love you to give me some coaching tips because I tend to just like water faucet it out. So thank you for saying that, coming from someone that's certified.
I mean, dude, it's been really interesting to just hear the language because you hear it in the language, you hear it in how like just how I noticed how you supported Gina, like and just like how you worded things and like even like you said, like
I'm grateful
anyways.
for it too.
Yeah,
like, have a client and work relationship because I come from a lot of burned business, a lot of people who fucked me over, who've taken advantage of me, and to finally like have a work environment where I feel like I could actually trust and maybe even call someone family now at this point. And even Elizabeth has been so great and helpful, and I see what she does for you. And like I don't know if anyone ever tells her too how amazing and great she is. Like and
I protect her.
yeah, and what she does and having someone like Elizabeth literally sitting next to you every day is absolutely amazing. I don't think I have an exact Elizabeth or anything. Maybe Mike's my closest thing to Elizabeth. But having that even work relationship and finally finding people you can trust in that. And I appreciate you. I appreciate Elizabeth. And I appreciate Mike too, of course. He knows that I tell him all the time. He's the brother that I don't want to say the wish I had.
I get it, bro.
Well, damn.
I mean, I always think of us as siblings anyway. Like you're like my sister, and like Anthony's like my brother. Like it's.
Don't get me wrong. I have love for my brother. We just been a lot. We're rebuilding our relationship and getting to a place where we feel comfortable and stuff like that. We've been through a lot. Both our brothers. We've been through a lot with. So it's building that relationship.
It sounds like there's a lot of fear based on what other people have been through in your family and scared of yourself turning out like them. But you have entirely different DNA, and the fact that you're aware of that, you're already in the right direction. Like it's willpower is a crazy thing, especially when you feel like you don't have any. But from what I can tell, it seems like,
yeah. And what if can I pose you another? I like analogies lately. Is my like Cole conference training kicking in or the EQ training?
No, this is so intriguing for me. I'm taking some notes from this.
Yeah, notes. I appreciate you just like hearing me out because I love talking clearly. So there's like a Chinese proverb that goes like so a guy had a prize-winning horse. I'm gonna say it was a horse. Maybe it was a cow. I don't know what animal it was. Let's say it's a horse. This guy has a prize-winning horse, wins. Everyone's like, "Oh, that's so awesome." He's like, "Yeah, maybe. We'll see. Like, let's see what's up." And then horse breaks out, runs away, or someone stole it, and then everyone's like, "Oh, you must be so upset." So I was like, we'll see." And the whole idea is like he goes through all these scenarios that could be perceived as good, could be perceived as bad, and it's always we'll see. And the idea is, to me, what I'm hearing is it's perspective, and kind of what I'm hearing you say, Anna, as well, is it's the perspective of it. And what if there is no right or wrong? What if it's just, does this serve you? Does it not serve you? Because from my experience from it, and this is just me projecting my own experience here, is I've dabbled quite a bit from micro dosing to like full dosing to like all the way up to like 7 grams. Like that's like way too much.
Oh my God,
way
let's
too
go
much.
in the woods. Sorry.
Dude. But so our buddies, I won't say his last name, but Scotty knows I love him. Scotty hooks me up, man. Like he'll get it delivered to you. The deal.
Really?
Yeah, dude. Like he hooked me up when for my last. I just did one on Saturday, and I did an eighth. I did like a whole bar. And he does like chocolate bars. He's got the hookups. Also, and another fun fact, we'll talk about another time. Like we're working on the next 3 to 5 years. When I say we, I mean like me and some back end people and some other. I'll talk about this like offline on being able to not only decriminalize it, but legalize it on a federal level to be able to then imagine you could have not only a cannabinoid experience, but also a psilocybin and psychedelic experience. You go onto a 100-acre estate, just like what's that show that was on Netflix, Nine Perfect Strangers?
Like an ayahuasca experience.
Exactly. You could do that. But the idea is we create a fitness retreat dynamic. So there's quality food and because what's interesting about, I did like a whole psychedelic conference. I went to all these presentations on it.
Cool.
The change in your brain activity, what happens a lot with psilocybin and even ketamine, like doing therapeutic ketamine injections and different types of things along those lines, LSD, is it changes brain activity. So when we look at functional MRIs, the parts of our brain that light up or turn off that's why PTSD, it can be great for that, or depression or mood regulation, because it helps assist activity and deactivity in different parts of the brain. From my understanding, again, I'm not a doctor. Take all this with a grain of salt,
psilocybin is what's in the mushroom. If anyone doesn't know what that is.
I would say, what's this?
Yeah, so dude, so this is like my downside, man. Like Gina always busts my chops with this. Like I get too far into the like weeds on things, and then I forget to like
bring it back in. He started nerding
I
out.
saw someone on Instagram. I think it's somewhat legal in Canada, and they will measure it out, capsule it, make sure it's the same strain, because there's different strains just like weed. So being able to take your tiny little dose in the morning like a pill kind of takes away the let me break off this mushroom cap, I'm a full hippie, you know what I mean? Like it takes away the let me put on my tie-dye shirt and my rose-colored glasses sort of thing. Like we normalize pharmaceuticals so much, and these are just way more natural. You're not going to have any of life-harming side effects. If anything, it's going to heal your body. Like I remember the next week I only could eat like the caveman diet. Like I only craved like raw vegetables, and I was like, what's wrong with me? Like my partner brought home like this super like spicy plate of food, and I smelled it and I was like, no, my body doesn't want that. I want bread and cheese, or like just plain. And a lot of that has to do with all that stomach activity. But I lost like 10 pounds after I started, because I started eating in better proportions, because it's like my body, it's like there was all like a whole workshop going on up there, and I was just like it was like my teacher was up there.
Dude, I can go into the weeds on this one with like brain activity, like the microbiome, the gut dynamic at play, like what you're alluding to. Even
is that what it is? Because I guess that's what it is.
yeah. And again, like I'm not a doctor. This is just all from I'm just regurgitating things of when I go to class, like what we think we know and like what's being said, and then what research can support maybe. But in my own anecdotal experiences of it. But what I think is really interesting to it as well is like the idea of like, and this is getting maybe more in the foo-foo-y world, but like the communication dynamic of like it communicating to you and what you're tapping into with that potential. And even to your point, Gina, kind of going back to the thing is like, I would just say this, like, what would you tell Logan if Logan came to you and you're like, Mom, I don't feel enough, I don't feel any one of those things, like what would you want to tell her? And maybe that's something that you could offer your own self, because I would imagine you'd want to love her, and you'd want her to forgive herself and surrender. And I'm making assumptions here, but like I'm hearing a lot of, and I'm projecting because I know our family and I know your history and I know my history. Sorry.
No, and now see, you're making me tear, because you're making me feel like Logan coming to me and saying that to me. I would never want her to feel the way I'm feeling right now. Not in this very moment. I don't feel like that, but
it's a great perspective shift. And
it is. It really is. Because I would tell her that she's
and don't you think she sees that in you?
Everything, and she's more, and she's triple,
And that's what you are. Because it takes that in you to be able to see that in another person.
I know. Jesus, now I'm gonna be red the rest of the fucking.
Well, when I made that TikTok and I was glowing, it was like I saw the little girl who used to dance on her purple bucket on the patio at 6 years old, and Dad being like, "You can't dance that way in front of the neighbors," and she just wanted to come out and play. And now when Liz and I, we went on a trip on the new moon, we all wrote a letter to someone, and I decided to write it to myself, and I was like, "Hey, little girl, like." I know you have big dreams, and I was like, look, it's going to get hard, but I promise you it's going to get good, and I'm going to hold your hand the whole way. And I think in therapy, a lot of therapists don't talk about like talking to your inner child, because you can talk to yourself, but you're so hard on yourself, right? The controlness, the willpower, that I don't want to be this way. But what about little Gina, when there was nothing in the world that contributed to all this shit that's going on? Like, have you been in touch with her lately? And, if little Gina was like, here's a good analogy. If little Gina saw where you are today, would she be proud? Like, would she be excited to be big Gina? And what can big Gina do or change to be the dream that little Gina has? Because you have all the power to do that for her. You may not do it for you, but you can do it for her. And that's something that's been like mind blowing to me is remembering in all these moments, like, it's okay to be playful and to fuck up a little bit. Cause if I'm going to succeed and leave a legacy for anyone, like I want to just make sure like that she's okay.
Yeah, no, and I think you guys hit the nail on the head, like, especially with all the analogies and stuff like that. It's hard to tune into that inner self or that inner child sometimes. And sometimes we need to do it to really put things in perspective. And it's hard sometimes when you're feeling so emotional or hormonal. And I know even outside of the depression part, it's also like, I know I'm being angry too, because even Josh said that, like, you know, you've been very on edge, and I know it's because of what you're going through, but I just want you to be aware of it, and you're being kind of mean. I'm like, I'm trying not to. I'm really gonna be trying to be more aware of it, and you know, I don't want to feel like I'm failing him or failing Logan, and I know I'm doing my best, and even trying to work out.
Sounds like you're holding a whole ship together, and your sail's gonna go down if you're holding everyone else's up too. And I couldn't imagine. I don't have, you know, kids and a family, but I'm sure there's like almost no time for self-care when you're having to make sure your kids are fed. Like, that's insane to me. I mean, I do have 4 dogs. I have to feed them. That's 12 bowls of food a day, and that's a lot for me.
It's a lot of food. Don't get me wrong. I get self-care. My husband always makes sure I have time to myself. I will say I would not be able to do what I do without my husband. My husband is my rock. He helps me with everything, from watching Logan while I work, or, you know, me just going to, you know, getting my nails done and everything like that. You know, he is the most involved, perfect dad and husband you could ask for. And Mike too. Like, I think that they've broken cycles and broken chains or stereotypes with that too. Everyone's like, oh, you know, they're not a babysitter, you know, they're a partner there. And so I couldn't do this. Hi, Ashley. Is that Ashley?
Yeah. Somehow a cat just got into our house.
What?
There's like a cat walking, and I just noticed that she cracked the door open to say hey, to see how the podcast is doing. And there's a cat walking. We don't have a cat, by the way. There's a cat walking in my house. So I'm pretty sure it's the neighbor's cat that my daughters love, that they might have kidnapped and brought into our house.
God.
Sorry to just distract us and derail.
Chris, you might know about, I mean, Reiki's really interesting, cupping, salt caves, cacao ceremonies. There's still a lot of like PG style things that you can do. Just like being in a dark room with a lot of people and doing these healing sort of things can
coming to Asheville,
coming to North Carolina.
There's I mean, there's a lot of, what's the other one? I just know my masseuse was like, you know, these lessons, like I went in there and she was like, Anna, you're just holding on to these really hard lessons and I can feel them in your body. It's okay to just let them go. And she just jabs the fuck out of me and does all this weird shit and says some shit. And all of a sudden it's like releasing that fascia and all that tension or tightness in certain areas. There's stuff they can pressure points on your head that they can release and whatnot. Acupuncture. I mean, there's some other like physical things to kind of lean into if you know, I'm sure there's places in New York that do all of the voodoo stuff.
Oh, of course. I gotta do a little searching and probably pay an arm and a leg for it. But of course, like you said, self-care and spending that money sometimes is way more valuable than anything else. It's just
and don't get your nails done for a month and instead maybe try it for something else. So if the financial thing's a stress, and then vlog about it too, and then you get to share that experience with your followers. Sorry to not.
Another thing too is holding myself accountable to do that. You know, trying to do that and everything. And as you know, vlogging and doing and then cutting up the content, posting it, you know, getting it done and actually doing it is like.
So do it to the bare minimum. Like I have an app, it's called Mewtwo, and you can. It's kind of like, you know, in TikTok when you record little snippets and you can save it as a draft. So every time I open the app to vlog, I'll just record the snippet I need to, so I'm not having to edit down like long segments.
Oh, that's smart, actually.
So that way, like, you get in the car, like, hey, we're going here today. Put the phone down, and then you get there, pick it up, record it. Okay, now we're here. And at the beginning and the end, be like, hey guys, I'm not cutting up this video because I'm in I don't give a fuck mode. And I get the best response from those videos. Like, I think a lot of influencers, don't scale as far because they're just so hyper focused on the text and the thumbnail and stuff. But it's more about getting the message out that's the most valuable. You could have a new series that's just like, hey, this is Gina unedited.
Yeah, no, I think you're 100% right, and it's sometimes you gotta hear it to pause, to stop and breathe, type situation. Because even as far as like, I read, let's bring it back even, I read the book and I've been dying to implement it and actually dying to do it. And it's figuring out, one, how it fits into my lifestyle. Like you even said, you had to find out your boundary and what you're comfortable with. Guys, again, let's peep this in right here, the Slutrepreneur, Anna's book. So, some great tips here and finding what you're comfortable with and boundaries. And I've been dying to do it and I haven't found time to do things that I want to do. And I think that's another form of self-care too, now that I'm saying it out loud, technically.
Yeah, there you go.
I'm saying doing something what I want to do is like a side project. And I think also constantly worrying about my family is a huge anxiety too. I have really bad postpartum anxiety, thinking of every way my family could die like 20 times a day and trying to make sure that doesn't happen, so it's
yeah. And again, like kind of circling back to the mushrooms, like it can give you that perspective. It's like, appreciate that they're breathing with you right now. Why would you take away this moment that you have with them and replace it with a moment that's not even real, know? And I also want to commend like being around people like this in a safe space. I think the most beautiful relationships are when it's like a mirror, because you start to see the best qualities in yourself, and it's just this fruitful thing where you start, hearing it from someone else, you digest it. Like my partner will say something, but then I'll be around more of like a twin flame and they say it. And then I'm like, oh no, it makes sense. Like,
my husband yells at me for that all the time. He's like, I just told you that, but you listened to it from this person. I'm like, it's in the same thing. If I tell you something, you don't always listen to me. You wait to hear it from your best friend, so it's funny. Oh, and we got some people. I love seeing this
giveaway.
Yes, I know. People are like,
do the giveaway.
I think we should do the giveaway.
Yes, it's
People are gonna like.
Also, I wanted to be sorry.
Go ahead.
I was gonna say I wanted to be mindful for Anna too, because we're crushing the time right now. I don't know if you noticed, like we're cruising it along, and I just wanted to also be mindful because you mentioned this before, so I'll make some assumptions that may be fair or unfair about you, Anna. I would imagine once you get in the zone, you could probably go for a while, and then I also want to be able to provide you a space and a window of like, hey, we can get you out of here when we got to get you out of here.
Sweet. No, see, and that's why I need people like this in my life, and I think with Gina, I don't want to feel like we're dragging you through the mud or anything either. I think we got to kind of the head, and I can feel, I personally feel like you've kind of let a few guards down already.
Oh, 100%. And I think, you know what it is too? You as a person, and a lot of people know, and it's public about your life as well. So I feel like almost like I feel like I know you without knowing you, but now talking to you and having more of an in-depth conversation, it's a different level and connection as well to see like how you are more outside the social media, and stuff like that. Because of course, like we work together, but it's different when you get to sit down, and I'm glad we got to have you on here. And I guess we're like went to the next level, or like a relationship to the next level.
No, well, I mean, Elizabeth does it a lot too. Like we'll get off our Amazon Live, and then we'll be like, okay, let's FaceTime after. And then I'm just like, oh, I'm glad it's over. And it's like, people don't get to see that. And then I'm like, what do we have to do tomorrow? Where do I need to be?
What's going on with my life?
And it's I cherish those relationships too, because it's the next level. Like it's just realness, it's authenticity, and it's I'm an open door, open book for you, that. And it's I'm so happy. Like I don't even remember how you landed in my lap, to be honest, but it's been a dream come true since I met you. I mean, you have just open doors wide open, and I'll try to give credit to myself that I've lived up to those opportunities, but you have been more than gracious with handing me connections that you didn't have to, or working overtime. And I see that clearly, and I always want to mutually give the love back in every way I can, because we can all succeed together. That's what the book is about. We can all succeed together.
I
Community
think
over competition.
I was gonna say, I think I followed you. That was first up. I found you on TikTok. So not in a creepy way, stalkers followed you type way. I actually shared it with someone. I'm like, look at this girl making money. Look how much. I remember the G-Wagon. You were posting about how much you hated your G-Wagon, all this stuff like that. I think that's 3 years ago at this point, almost like 2-3 years ago at this point. And then I had the.
Mike, do you know about the older style G-Wagons? How they have this like basketball cup style cup holder? Like they're the most non-classy on the inside. It's like literally a military vehicle. So I was making these. I don't want to sound like an asshole, like my G-Wagon, but the inside.
Oh, it's
just
stupid.
Not realistic for the price. So I was making these funny videos of just all the parts of it that don't make sense, and one of them went viral.
I was gonna say, I think one video that went viral that I think it's where I found you was that I bought my G-Wagon by selling X.
Okay.
I think it was like toenails or panties or socks or something.
I was wearing a yellow dress. I know which one you're talking about.
Yes, and that's where I found you from. And then we worked with the Peanut Butter Club. I think that's when Peanut Butter Collection.
Yeah.
That's when I reached out to you, like, do you want to work with us? And then it just trickled from there.
Yep.
So.
Aw, trip down memory lane.
I got you since birth, so.
Yeah, I mean, Prashad. We also have the same birthday. Fun fact, by the way.
Same birthday, 3 years apart, exactly.
Oh, that's planetary.
Right?
So, hey.
Yeah.
Guys, since you've been also patient, what we're going to do is the first giveaway for all of you who signed up on the website and entered your emails and did your daily entries. And then the second giveaway is for those of you who showed up here live. So, Mike, I'm going to tell everyone to do roll call and write giveaway in the chat. And you want to write those names down while I do the other one?
Hold on. Yeah, let me get myself mentally prepared.
Gina, we were trying to make you laugh in the comments.
Wait, I didn't even look at what happened. Oh, God.
I think someone asked a joke. Let me just make sure it's a good joke.
Okay, so let's make Gina laugh.
Okay, here we go. I bet I can.
Let's. So I tried. Here we go. So I tried to do a pole trick on a basketball goal, and I completely failed. And the goal.
Ooh.
And myself ended up. Oh, that sounds painful. I don't know if I want to laugh at that. It sounds extremely painful.
There wasn't enough sand in the bottom. I've done a basketball goal before and almost been there.
Like, oh no, oh my God. And guys, thank you so much for all the love. You know, that's what, and I think this community also makes it like really fun too. You guys are so, like, the Amazon world is like such a different ballgame compared to anywhere else, I feel like.
Did you get the joke, what do you call doing 69 with a person in a wheelchair?
No, I didn't see that. What did it say?
Meals on wheels.
That's actually really good.
That's actually a really good joke. But
I'm totally gonna use that.
Wait, is there? Oh, the thing. I don't know if there's
a
the
last one. But we made Gina laugh. We love it.
Yay! Thank you guys. Let's see. Live draw. One winner.
My list no names. Oh, there we go. I almost lost it.
I'm gonna share my screen, guys, so you can see. We're gonna do the live drawing for the $50. Let's see. Winner, chicken dinner.
I was gonna say, Chris, you'd get along with my brother really well. He has some of the same language when we talk. I feel like we could have a good old Southern bonfire party.
I think we should.
Party.
Okay. Draw winners. I think I just clicked this and then it happens, guys. So here we go.
Hope you're healing, Vicky. Don't laugh too hard.
10. Okay, here we go. 9, 8, 7, 6. Oh, there we go. I'm too fast. 5.
Oh, here we go. You could do it. You could do it.
6, 5, 4. Oh, I'm nervous.
Right.
Do they have to be in the chat?
Oh.
For this one, no, but the next one we're about to do, they do. Yeah, so Jessica A.
Yeah,
so
Jessica.
guys, winner, I will email you. You have 24 hours to claim your gift card. If not, then we'll redraw on the next live. Mike is collecting everyone else, though. We are doing an additional gift card for you showing up here and being in the chat. You guys were amazing today. You guys we had trouble keeping up with you guys in the chat.
Right.
Because the talk was too good. I do see a Jessica in the comments. I don't know if that's her.
We'll see. Jessica Ace, are you here?
Because there's a Jessica Darling in here. Darling.
Yeah,
Cheese.
Jessica.
So this one, I'm going to email the winner. I'll try to, let's find her.
And then I'm going to screen share now so you guys can see the names that I got. Is that all right?
Go for it.
Boom. All right. So we got, start at the top. We got Vicky, Chris. I'm going to butcher that. Cressida. Heidi, Sarah, Jessica Darling, Gizmo, D, and then there was like Ink too, whatever. I just like abbreviate a lot of these guys, but you'll know who you are. Morgan, Terry, Evans, and Maricelli. Like the cherries. What kind of cherries are those?
Oh my gosh.
You know what I'm talking about? Yeah, right? Yeah, that's it. I don't know.
Something like that.
Maraschino cherries? Is that it?
Yeah, maraschino, maybe.
Maraschino?
Yeah, Gina for the save. Yeah, Anna, thank you. All right, who we got? All right, so we got that. All right, now we got a bunch more coming in. Brandy, did I get you in here, Brandy? There we go. I got you, Brandy.
All right, I am emailing the winner.
Who else? Oh, also, while she's doing that, Anna, can I tell you a funny story? Because I lived in Vegas for like 6 months, so I had some. I only have one good story. I think it's relevant to like this world or this field.
I thought you were going somewhere left with this. I was like, oh my god, what is he about to say? He did.
No, I mean, I was going
did the stripping continue?
Yeah, no, I wish it did. Well, that was the game plan. So I was actually short on
I know
rent.
what you're saying. Go ahead.
Yeah, Aunt Doreen actually stopped me from it. Her mom was the one that not saved me, but like stopped me from making a choice that was otherwise going to go differently. Which, anyways, so I was short like $400 on rent one month, and my buddy had told me, and it's still there to this day, 1-800 bait and tackle. You can call this number from. I actually haven't called it in a long time, but I see like billboards and stuff still to this day for this. So you call 1-800 bait and tackle. They'll they run you through the application process, whatever. So it's like, if you want to go into that section of film for guys, and I didn't really do my research. I didn't know. So I was like, all right, cool. I'm going to get paid to show up, do my thing solo on camera. You'll shop that around. I'll get paid $500 on the spot. That's awesome. I didn't really realize like what the next steps were.
Okay.
Hey, who are you going to work with? Is it going to be like, guy, whatever that's going to look like. So I ended up not even going that far into it, but I they had you send in pictures, first just like waist up, no shirt on, then like whole body, and then, you know what I mean? And then all right, cool. Like we'll send,
like a
limo
casting call sort of.
Yeah, it was exactly a casting call. So like, I wonder if they're still paying it, but like, that was literally like one phone call away. Like I called her mom to tell her, hey, Aunt Doreen, this is what I'm going to do. And she's like, listen, you could do whatever you want to do. That's fine. But just hear me out. Just think about this. Like, and in hindsight, honestly, it probably would have been better for my fight career, because like there were some other fighters that got more notoriety because they did certain things like that because of it. But I ended up not. So that was just my random story of what I didn't do, but just to distract us a little bit. All right,
Yeah,
Wait, you know what you should tell her, Mike?
What?
The thing you did when you were live.
Oh yeah, you want to hear that story? So, Gina, close your eyes.
Close my eyes?
Yeah, just so you don't see what I was like. So I'm using this puppy right over here, right? And,
I want to look. Okay.
So I was
party cup.
I was live streaming on Amazon, all this, just like on StreamYard. I had ate a gummy before I started the stream. I was like, all right, this is going to kick in right when I needed to, when the stream's over, and I could do my thing. So I did, all that happened. I thought the stream's over, and I put on my Oculus headset, my Quest headset, and I start like watching like VR porn, and I'm like going to town doing my thing with that. But I'm live, like live streaming. It's like, thankfully it's 2 a.m. though. And I'm on like LinkedIn, YouTube, Facebook, like all these platforms. I at least ended the Amazon stream though. Thankfully.
Yeah, I was thinking,
because that would have been like, I think really bad. But
really
I played an outro video. So I think I only had one viewer on the whole thing, on like, it was on I think it was LinkedIn, and they watched for like 90 seconds or something. So I'm worried in like 20 years from now, somehow a random video of me is gonna like materialize that I didn't plan for.
Moral of the story: he's not allowed to have anything cannabis before he goes.
Yeah, like no gummies, no nothing. Is basically the point of that.
I mean, I sell sex toys. They're all over on my house, and I can't tell you. Anytime I turn a camera on, I have to deep scan everything, because you never know what's gonna be in the background. But that's insane. Like,
I'm surprised you should webcam, Mike. I feel like you'd be good at webcamming.
I feel like I would too, maybe. I actually, dude, I'll talk to you about this off. I actually, me and Ashley are thinking about, I don't even know, dude.
doing a little OnlyFans maybe.
But a very niche audience of like only gay couples that are like, I have to like tell you stories of people that we know and personal things that I don't want to discuss live. And I'd love for you to also meet some of these people because they're like amazing and you'd love them. Just people.
I really want to go to a sex club in New York and at least just be a voyeur for the first experience. But it's definitely on my bucket list because down
When you
here,
say sex club, like,
so basically, like a club where couples can go. You don't have to fuck, but there's different rooms. There's like could be glory hole.
They exist in New York. I thought that was like a thing years ago.
No,
it exists,
underground. Bro. I mean, swingers
I don't know
have
where.
a whole map in the city. You know what I mean?
What?
Yeah, and it's really fun as a couple to go, even if you don't engage, just to kind of watch and get your blood going. But I've always like
straight couples too.
Huh?
Straight couples,
of course.
Any kind of couple, whatever couple you want.
Yeah,
bro.
girls usually get in free. Sometimes you have to bring like a recent
STD
screening. You know, there's condoms provided. But they're a big thing, and like people go to New York or to Florida specifically to find, or I guess California maybe. You know, the bigger cities have nicer ones. You know, like quality ones. Yeah, it's a huge thing. That's on my bucket list for sure. I mean, I love being a cam model. I love being watched, and I think that's like kind of next level sort of thing.
Would you bring your daddies or?
It just depends. I know sometimes like the girl who does my laser tattoo removal, she every like quarter, her and her girlfriends go to Florida and they all have boyfriends at home, but they only engage like with other girls. Like they have their boundaries and whatnot. So it's really what your preference is.
Okay.
You know, but I think it would definitely be an experience to try, you know, maybe I think there's a Netflix show about some of that stuff, but if you look, you'll find them.
Yeah, these are great. Like, so I won't go too far but me and Ashley had a 5-year anniversary kind of gift agreement, and it was just our 5-year anniversary, and we didn't do it this year because we like variety of reasons.
This is your idea or Ashley's idea?
No, so before we got married, this was Ashley's offer. I don't know the right way to word it. I want to say offer.
Michael likes to come up with ideas that he thinks are both of them.
No,
but it's actually just Michael.
What is the trade?
So it's not a trade. She was just like, hey, so if we can find a girl that like looks like me, but like slightly less good looking and like in that kind of arena. So I thought that was a real offer. And in hindsight, I'm thinking like maybe that was kind of like a fugazi, like you just said that kind of a deal. But honestly, recently, I'll let Ashley discuss her own conversations in this area.
Good.
I was just like, I think we're more open to different option. Yeah, like just different, not even that, like just like what she's into, or like
or even having
I'm open to, or
having sex in the same room with another couple and even not engaging. There's so many different levels of pleasure that you can safely accomplish especially if communication is down. And I have a few episodes with my partner in the beginning of my podcast where we talk about like how to be a couple in a strip club, how to navigate it the best way, because we thrived on threesomes so much when we met. It just brought out like the best in each other because they could leave afterwards. But
how'd you find the third person?
You can have a Tinder bio as a couple. You can go on Seeking Arrangements and do like a sugar baby arrangement. Unless like, you know, some people, like if you have swinger friends and stuff, sometimes that'll happen. To me, it's rare that like a unicorn just appears. They call unicorns like, you know, girls who like to sleep with other couples. But you know, I see what your girlfriend's saying. Like sometimes you don't want it to be like a friend, like you'd rather it be like someone you could hire and that it's not emotional and they leave right after, and it doesn't get complicated. And you can even have situations like that where just your girlfriend and the girl do their thing and you can just kind of be there as an experiencer, and that's like a good way to dip your toes in the water. But A, you don't know till you find out, and B, sometimes if things go a little sour and something makes you feel uncomfortable, if the relationship's strong, you say, oh, well, we learned a lesson. Now we know what not to do next time. But there were a lot of things about that we really enjoyed and that brought us closer and made me realize you like this about certain things. And I'm going to do that a little more next time. And oh, I'd love to be a sex coach.
Yeah,
Why don't you?
dude, I was gonna say, dude, like, so that's like a whole nother arena. I think if you combine your innate empathetic abilities and from my observations, like your vocabulary, your way you can communicate with people, to me, it's a logical, it makes sense. But I'm not gonna be the person to tell you how to live your life, obviously.
Well, Gina knows we're in the works of a little baby empire project.
Ooh.
That might be a side wing of the mansion that people can come in.
Dude, that's so I'm so excited. Whenever I don't know what's going on, but whenever whatever is going on, like I'd love to help just support that and like send people to whatever that looks like. That sounds awesome.
Lots of good manifestations coming our way. And I'll say it again, what's so important is, you know, I know deeply, like I have the power to do a lot, but you have so much more power in numbers. And when you have a good team or a strong family, it is amazing.
Yes.
Like world domination, baby.
Yes.
The world.
So it looks like they're getting ready for this giveaway.
Yes,
I think the chat's getting a
they're
little.
like, let's go.
All right, so hold on. And this is my favorite part is the shuffle. We get to shuffle them up. Hold on. Oh, it's not gonna let me shuffle.
Yes,
No.
Vicky, those are whips behind me.
Well, oh, I can shuffle the characters. Yeah. All right, ready? Let's give it a countdown. 3, 2, and we're off. Can I share one more story? It just made me remember another story that
Okay,
you
go ahead,
appreciate. So this website doesn't exist anymore, but it's kind of like a Tinder, but it was for sponsors, actually, for athletes, young up and coming athletes.
Oh,
So if you were like an amateur skater or martial artist, fighter, whatever, they would connect you to sponsors that wanted to invest in you young and get you like early before you had huge deals. So a woman actually found me on this website, and she wanted to be like an angel investor or whatever you want to call that. And she was just like, listen, I made a lot of money in the adult entertainment industry. Like I was really smart with it. And I just have like money to spend for tax write-off purposes and like charities and whatever. And she's like, I'd like to do that with you. And I was such an ignorant young kid. I didn't think it was possible that I thought one of my friends were clowning me. Like I thought if someone was pretending to do this. Oh, and here's the home stretch. 3, 2, who's going to pull it out? Maricelli or Maricelli. I'm sorry if I'm butchering the name.
Are you here?
Congrats.
yes.
She was very active in the chat and was great.
I know you're here. I know it. I can feel it. All right. So I'm gonna stop screen sharing. So
she's here. She's here.
Yeah.
I mean, I saw her comment last, right?
Hold on. Let's see. Wait.
I hope she's still here, but she was one of the last comments.
Yeah. And I have the list saved in case they're not here, and I can always go to like second place. We can run again, but I'm pretty sure they're here.
Let me give it like a minute or two. And
yeah, she commented right before Vicky did about FetCon, which is pretty cool. So.
Yeah, that's another thing for next year.
Oh yeah, there she is.
I want to get you in all the cons. We got to make a list of them.
See, I'm grateful to be in a place where I have the courage to do things publicly. That's a whole nother thing, going out and seeing the people.
Dude.
I know. I think you'd be great in person at these things, especially like you said, you want to make connections to other TikTokers. VidCon was great for that this year. I'm mad that we missed the boat on that one. We could have definitely got you in there.
Yay, she's here. She said, "Hey, oh, damn!
Yay, she's here. She's here. You win."
All right. So how do we want to just say have her send us an email, or do you want to put I don't know how you feel about putting your email in the chat. That's probably not the best move, you know.
We'll put your email down, Mike, and have her.
All right. I'm gonna type my email and you shoot me an email and I'm gonna send it to you live right now.
And I'm sending you Jessica Ace answered back, right? I'm sending you that as well.
All right. So I just put my email in there. So just shoot me that email. We'll get you that stuff. So the end piece of that story is she's like, hey, listen, how much money do you want? Like, what's your monthly retainer, whatever? I was like, I was like a young kid. I was like, I got $250 for a patch on my shorts. So I didn't even give her a real number. I made up a number. I was like 10 grand. She goes, do you want to do 50? I'm like, what? Yeah, sure. Let's do this. Are you serious? And she's like, yeah, like I'll do this for like a 2-year deal. We'll do like 1.2 over 2 years. And I just like, whatever. She's like, I want to make sure I walk out with you every fight. Like I want to be your walkout person. Which to me was weird and raised some red flags. But morally, like I had a fight like 10 days later. So I was like, all right, cool. Like you can come out to my fight. We can finalize the deal, whatever. And I was kind of nasty to her because I still didn't believe it was real.
So wait, did you get the money?
No. So long story short, she flew all the way out, got off the plane, gave me the paper, ripped it up, and then got back in the airport and left. So I don't know if it was real or not. Like, who knows? Like, because I didn't see money, but she flew all the way, gave me like a contract, ripped it up, and then just got back on a plane.
Why'd she rip it up?
You were nasty to her?
There was her way of saying, like, you never said, and this is what she said. She said, you never said thank you once. And I was like, dang, homie, like, you're right, I didn't. And like, but I don't, it just seemed like you could have called me to do that. Like, you know,
maybe that was her kink.
Right? Maybe. And maybe that was like, I don't know. Maybe this was a whole game and there was another dude watching, or like, I don't know what was going on. Because like, I actually reached out to 3 other athletes she supposedly sponsored. And they're like, dude, she's legit, man. Like, she's real. But she actually hit me up like 5 years ago, like while I was with Ashley. And I was like, Ashley, like, what are your thoughts on this? Like, like I'd have to like be physically intimate with her. And it just is not the move.
On the cards, how much money was on the table?
It was like 1.2 million. So I was like, dude, come on. But we could always make more money.
I think if I could be in the room, I'd say okay.
She was not about it. And then because it created a lot of complicated things. And then it goes back to your point. Like, my concern is if it's someone we like, how does it change our relationship and our dynamic? And then like, I can always make money. Like, like I'm not saying like I'm a bajillionaire, but like I'm confident in my ability to make money. I can't get another or have that. You can't go back on but if your relationship is strong, you can talk and communicate through that. So it's like, I don't know. Anyways, I'm not wasting bandwidth anymore. I just thought you'd appreciate the story.
Yeah, you don't want to jeopardize the good thing that's been consistent. It's the last card you want to pull. And someone recently explained that to me in a way too, because with the warehouse move and everything, I was weighing out all my options, and it was like, you don't want to, jeopardize anything. And I was like, you're abso-fucking-lutely right. I just needed someone to say that to my face. Lesson learned.
Yes. And on that note too, one of the things, and we'll talk about it next time. Are you gonna pull a tarot card?
Yes, but what were we gonna say, Gina?
So Mike also we didn't get to go into this. Maybe another time we'll talk about it. But his your addiction to, what is it? Is it sex or porn?
I mean, just like the orgasm, I guess itself, right? Like it's the
point where, remember the doctor said you ever fucked up?
Yeah. Oh, that was from jerking off. So like
I've desensitized myself too. There's a chronic masturbation, it's real.
So this wasn't even the sensory
day that you said you do that.
This was like 5 to 7, but that's, so here's the thing, that this is also where it's a caveat, because like I'll like finish the first time, but like I won't even like stay hard. I'll just keep going, even soft. Like it's like I want the input. I want the sensory dynamic of it. So like I'll keep going right until I'm about to, and then I'll like do my but
and then there's edging too. That's a whole other thing as
I like that for the first time, and then once I get past that, like I go hard for like 30 minutes, and I'm just trying to get as many as I can in like 40 minutes. Which is also
is that like, do you talk to someone about that, or is that just completely normal?
Yeah, I talk to my therapist. Like, I mean, my therapist is also not very concerned. They're like, listen, I talked to Ashley about, also my physical therapist was more concerned because I hurt my shoulder. Like I had actual labrum issues. I
got the forearm thing going on. The Hitachi is a scary device.
Yeah, so I just have a good medical team though, because like they've given me good movements and extra rotation stuff, and like I talk to Ashley and I talk to my therapist, and like it's
someone said Marcelli said guilty chronic masturbator here, just record it and sell it, you'll be fine.
Yeah, dude. So that's so that's kind of what we were alluding to with our couple friend, is like me and Ashley were gonna do our own thing, record it.
That's a niche right there that not everyone can do.
Yeah, so we're thinking about that.
No, just being able to ejaculate like a lot is not everyone can do that, let alone.
Oh, I didn't think about that even, actually. That's a good point.
I feel like that has to hurt after a while.
I mean, I've definitely when I was younger, like when I was like 16, I would like bleed, and I didn't understand lotion. Like I was just like drying it. I was doing it dry. Like I didn't use lotion and stuff when I was younger, so it was like painful. Like it was not. So you have to like. I learned in stages.
Yeah.
Like, and I also broke my arm, and I'm a lefty when it comes to that. So like I broke my left arm, so I had to like completely switch up and like build my.
Adapt.
It's like it's a different feeling too.
I see the addiction in the family here coming through.
See how it's like all like just the process.
But is that considered an addiction, or is that like healthy to be doing it that many times a day?
I mean,
in your opinion?
For me, I'm like, if it makes me feel exploding with pleasure, why would I not want to do it until I physically can't?
Does it affect your sex life? Not that we don't have to go into this right now. I'm curious. Does it affect your sex life doing it that much, Anna, without him?
No, because for me, if I can, it's like I'm fluffing myself before that, you know, like I can get super ooey gooey and then it's more pleasurable for him, you know.
And do you stop before you orgasm and then wait for him, or orgasm and then go into sex?
I guess it just depends. I don't really think about it that much. I mean, in sex work, since I'm orgasming so much anyways, it's really nice to like get through a show and like then have him just kind of handle me in any way that he wants, because because for women it's a lot more mental to like get there and to fully open up. So if I go into bed, you know, dry, like I'd rather be nice and you know
Ready to go.
Right.
Not sorry, I didn't need to get too personal, but you know, we're just curious. Because for me, I can't. Once I hit that point, I can't do anything after.
Interesting.
Once I have the big O orgasm. We're adults here. I don't know why I'm substituting orgasm. It's like I'm also almost too sensitive, and it's like overwhelming and almost not painful, but like you gotta like
shut down.
Like, whoa.
Well, see, in my eyes, you know, for women, we have our internal orgasm and our external. So is it the internal that's getting too sensitive?
I think so. It's like me being touched. I can't be like I can't be played with anymore, because like
it's usually how guys are. Like once they ejaculate, then they're like, you know, out the door.
That's how and I don't know. That's just
so
I'm like
I'm the opposite.
Edging would be good for you, so then you can edge as much as you can and elongate.
I think that's what I do. I didn't know there was a term for it. I didn't know it was called edging.
Yeah, so like when you feel like you're about to orgasm, like, you know, kind of let him know, and he can kind of withdraw a little bit so you don't, and continue with what you're doing.
Oh, cool. I didn't know there was a term. I'm gonna be like, baby, guess what I learned tonight? It was insightful.
So okay, let's do the card for you. Let's see, Mike, you want to go first?
And again, thank you to everyone tonight for being with us.
So just tell me when to stop.
And right there.
Oh, good top card. You are the Queen of Wands riding a lipstick.
Because his lipstick's always out.
Let's see what this is. Ashley would love this too. She's into all of this fun stuff.
Queen of Wands. Okay, hold on. It's making me Google. Click all the fire hydrants.
No.
What?
What?
Oh, let me open an incognito tab. I'm not doing
There you go. There you go.
Queen of Wands meaning. Jesus, what's wrong with my Google? It thinks I'm
totally looking it up too, because now I just want to know.
Yeah, the anticipation.
What? What is this?
What does the Queen of Wands symbolize? Represents one's basic instinct. Her strength and tasks are providing initial inputs. She says to you that you must think of the consequences of what you do, but that you must be sure to focus on what will get you moving and how to do it. Are you reading anything else?
It just has like keywords like upright and reversed.
What?
So that's if you pull the card like backwards. But you're an independent person. You're confident, outgoing, friendly, self-assured. So it's a good card, just representing health and vitality, energy levels. I mean, that makes sense.
Nailed it. No, I'm just kidding.
Nailed it.
Nailed it.
All right, Miss
Was Gina going?
Uh,
Yes. Yes.
All
This is
right.
my favorite part.
Tell me
Okay.
when.
Stop.
Collaborate and listen.
Oh.
Oh, you're the
Nice.
lovers.
Oh.
Lovers.
Yay. So what does that mean?
The lover
I like love.
meaning. This is the deck that doesn't explain it.
It comes with a little pamphlet or something.
Representing relationships and choices, its appearance in a spread indicates some decision about an existing relationship, a temptation of the heart, or a choice. Often an aspect of the current's life will have to be sacrificed, maybe a lifestyle sacrifice. Let's see, whatever the choice, it should not be made lightly.
Ooh.
That actually is a big thing going on. So there was a big choice that me and Josh we're talking about. So that's crazy. Oh wow! I
But
tell you what,
the ramifications will be long lasting, so just be intentional.
Mm.
We may feel like external circumstances and relationships are giving us value. Just choices and feeling uncertain about a decision, crossroads, feeling unsure.
It's so on point right now. That's so like creepy. Oh
Oh,
my god!
geez.
See what my bitch ass is.
I was gonna say, wait, don't you got to pull a card for yourself?
Let's see what you got.
Ace of Wands. This is such a cute little deck. It's like a 50s inspired.
Oh, yeah.
Oh. So wait, what does yours mean?
Let's see. You'd think I'd know all these by now.
I was gonna say, I feel like you should know this by now.
Tell us.
Mike, I emailed you Jessica Ace to. She said what email to send her the $50 gift card to.
Cool beans.
Success.
And then I just sent it
all
to me.
aspects.
Say it again.
Oh, yeah, girl.
Backed by luck, which I don't really believe in luck. I believe in all the opportunities are always in front of you. It's just which balls are you going to grab?
Yes.
Passion, new ventures, good luck. I mean, this was today already, so feeling good about that.
Hopefully, you come to New York soon.
We are.
Did you actually are
Ooh.
you like physically planning it?
That's me manifesting it. I'm
Okay.
already visualizing.
Putting it out in the universe.
Yes.
As long as it's not the 22nd of September to the 25th, I'll be in DR. So
Okay, cool.
just don't
Yeah,
do those days.
But we'll make. I mean, you have to be there for the meeting. So.
Oh, snap. Oh, snap.
But just right, I don't know.
Oh my gosh.
Okay, well, I know you got to sleep. You got work. Well, we all have work tomorrow, but I know it's late.
That didn't even. Well, this didn't even feel like work. That was so much fun.
Yeah, thanks so much. It was a great time.
Thank you for
Ooh,
everyone
Wait.
who like showed up here. To be honest, and guys, yes, if you don't wait, are they back in stock yet? Or what's the deal?
So we went to the printing company on Monday, and the copy they made was purple for some reason. So they are adjusting that. But these, give it a month, we'll have these back. But the PDF, the full PDF, is on sale for $20. The full book is like a $69 value. So.
And you get it signed, guys. Wait, look, see, I bought the part because I wanted it signed.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
I love it. Did y'all get the PhD and CE poetry in the back?
Yep.
That's one of my favorite little things.
Yeah. So, guys, again, check it out. And also listen to her podcast. Entrepreneur is also a podcast, guys. So make sure you tune into that. Anything else you want to remind the people of?
You're asking
That's you.
go get some self-care. This is your sign. Just go take care of yourself. That's all I gotta say. I'm on everywhere. I'm Miss Mothership on Instagram, Rebecca Blue on TikTok with 2 Ks. You're on here on YouTube already, Professional Goddess, and that's about it.
Well, with that being said, guys, I think we're going to about wrap it up. Thank you, every single one of you. You are amazing, and we love all of you. Make sure to tune into our Amazon channels and subscribe.
Gina, how can I catch up with you guys after this?
You can stay on here. Stay on here. Don't get off.
Alrighty. Bye, guys.
Okay, bye, guys.
Bye, y'all.